Hello, my Teaserking family. Hello, Bobby Bo. No, class isn't canceled. I apologize. So, how's everybody? Busy day. I'm open up a bag of almonds. So, a lot to do. Went to our favorite coins. So I got 7 silvers, bullions. It didn't have all buffalo, so I got this, which is still a bullion. 1 troy ounce. Oh, it's kind of neat. And I got a gold tenth of an ounce. A couple of these, all the Maple Leafs and Cougar hands I got last week are gone. I knew they wouldn't stay long. He says, Peter, it's like water. And I tried to be nice to the guy. I says, you don't realize you're selling $20,000 gold for $2,000. It's amazing how he doesn't get that concept. Anyway, so I really wanted to get 20 ounces of silver today. $26 an ounce, which is a fucking joke. Down to 22, they think, oh my God, it's going down. Nobody's selling. The only person selling is the coin. That's it. So, Bobby Ball, I'm waiting for you. I apologize. I was going to come on a little earlier. A little bit tired. Had a long day. So, anyway, I'm here now. Now, why don't we do baseball as it's probably already started? Let's see what we can do. This is Friday the 23rd. Is it June 23rd already? Next week, and then the week after is July 4th. Hard to believe. Amazing. KC beat McClanahan yesterday. I give it to Nick as the lock, but it was like minus 350 money line. That's ridiculous. And then they lose. Unbelievable. So KC is 1-0 over the Rays, middle of the second. Twins, top of the second, lead 3-0 over the Tigers. Milwaukee, 5-0 over the Reds. These games must start at like 6:30. Bottom of the first, Braves 5, Reds 0. Pirates and Marlins. Marlins 1-0 middle of the second. The Oriole game's delayed. Must be rain. We got rain here. Mets and Phillies. We got 2 minutes. Walker against Sneega. I'm in the wrong. What am I in scores and odds? I got to go to Yahoo because they give the ERAs. Arizona beats. Oh wait, we're on Thursday. Okay. Minnesota 3-0 over Detroit. Atlanta 5-0 over Cincinnati in the first inning. Detroit's in the second inning. Miami 1-0 in the second. KC 1, Tampa 0. All right, upcoming Texas and the Yankees. We got Dave Dunning 6-1 with a 2.78 for Texas. Clarkson 6-2 with Texas here. Fortunately, you don't have any time. What is it? $7 game starting now. The Mets and Oakland, Toronto. I'm sorry. Caprielian 2-6 with the 6.38 against Bassett 7-5 with the 4.16. Gotta like Toronto there. Oakland's pitcher 2-6 with the 6.38. Unbelievable. Again, that's why Oakland's only won 19 games. They don't have any pitching. It's not hard to figure out. If you don't have pitching, you're probably not going to win too many games. Bobby Bo, let me know when you come back. You're another 5 pounds. Very good. Yeah, I paid 26 for this. I got 7 of them. I have a few market things to talk about. Say's Law, economics. Let me get through this. So these are 8-10 games. In the White Sox. Bell 4-4 to 3-4-9 against Giolito 5. Two decent pitchers. I'd say maybe an under 8.5. California, Colorado. Sandoval 4-6 with a 4.08 ERA for California. Freeland 4-8 with a 4.48 for Colorado. Over under 12. Now this I think would be an over, but Jesus, that's bad pitching. I don't know. I'm not gonna. The over 12 is like a college football 75 over. It's just too high. And the thing about college football, when it's like a 75, 76, they never go over. The 65s go over, but when they actually make them 75, the team gets cute and starts running the ball, and tries to figure it out in the fourth quarter. I hate that. Washington, San Diego, Corbin 4-8 with the 4.89 against Musgrove 5-2 with the 4.22. Probably like San Diego there at home. Houston and the Dodgers, good series. JP France 2-2 with a 3.42 against Emmett Sheehan. Oh no, with an 0.00. Let's go over here. The Dodgers have a small ballpark, tend to play over games. And Houston certainly can hit this Emmett Sheehan. Arizona and the Niners. Zach Davies for Arizona 1-3 with a 7.11 ERA against Logan Webb 6-6 with the 3.11 ERA. You got to like the 49ers here, 6-6 with the 3.11 against 1-3 with the 7.11 ERA. So we'll take Frisco there. So anyway, worked the half day. Had a bunch of errands. Just tired. Went to the gold store. I did the oil change. And when I go there, I talk to so I got some interesting tidbits there. So I talked to the finance manager, and then I talked to the sales manager. And he's asking me all these questions. What's going on? What's going on? Because he knows I know. And he doesn't trust anybody, but he trusts me. So, first question, is the dollar dead? I go, yeah. The dollar is dead. Strawberries and Cool Whip. FYI, I'm just too tired to make. I got chicken breast that I got to cook. Maybe I'll cook it later. So, he says interest rates are like 7% for used cars, for new cars. Since most of them have like an $850 monthly fee. But then he says something weird. He's like, so I'm showing him the market. Well, your market's here. And if you're trying to sell it up here, you can't because the market. But then he tells me we can't keep the cars. As soon as we get them in, they're gone. Well, what do you mean? I thought you can't, with the prices. He says, well, we're having trouble getting cars in. So there's like no cars. So then when we finally make a few and get a few, there's people waiting. And I said, that's what you have in gold. People waiting for gold. So I'm so excited when I get gold. I get to put it in my bag. So, pardon me for eating, but what the fuck? So he starts asking me point blank, what's going on? Is the dollar gone? And I go, what do you think? Of course it's gone. I didn't show him this, but I was like, look, this is what the dollar's worth. Now he's into Bitcoin, and he says, I bought some metals. This means you probably bought some silver. And I made the perfect analogy for him. Apologize, I was setting up, and anyway, I'm here now. I made the perfect Bitcoin gold analogy. I go, Bitcoin's priced in dollars. We know the dollars are going out. They're going to zero. If you own Bitcoin, what's the value going to be? Zero. Gold doesn't need value. Gold doesn't need priced in dollars. So I bought this guy, the 10th of an ouncer, $250. And everybody boo-hoos going, well, if you buy 10 of them, you just paid $2,500 for the ounce. And I say, no, you understand. I was going to go buy 20 ounces of silver today. So I bring like $400, $500 with me. I'm going to pay cash. But I just spent $4,000 last week on the gold. I'm just going to buy some silver. I can't spend $2,000 every week there. I don't get paid every week. So I said to that, so I'm talking to the owner, and I say to him, he says, well, I got to order like 50 at a time, and, it doesn't make sense. And I said to him, yeah, but sometimes you just want to buy gold, and it's $250, and I bought gold. I know most people look at it as I want to buy, it doesn't make sense to buy tenths because 10 tenths make 2,500 an ounce when the ounce is like 2,100. And I say, you're right if you're looking at it that way. Hey, Bobby Bo. Yeah, sorry about that. I was ready to go, and then I just got tired, and it was like, okay, let me get my energy up. Been a long day, work, the gold store. All right, Bobby, I got 7 of these, 7 puppies, and a quarter ounce, a tenth of an ounce of gold. So this was I went to get 20 of these, but it felt so much better to buy some gold and then the silver. So this was $250, and then I bought 7 of these. It cost me $430 for my investment today, and I was very happy. He had some gold tenth of an ounce. He had 2 eagles. All the maples were gone from last week. All the Cougarans were gone from last week, and he had 7 or 8 of each. The buffaloes were gone. He had 2 eagles. And again, he has a panda. I don't know where he's getting these Chinese ones from. Well, you're eating your dark chocolate and coffee there? Yeah, dark chocolate. I got strawberries. I'm too tired. I got chicken breasts I got to cook up. I got strawberries. I got raw almonds, so I stay away from chips and shit. And the salt's killing my feet. I just can't have any. My body must not be processing my salt good enough. Do I have any? It just goes, and my feet start aching. So it's that. You saw your silver, okay? I didn't know why they sell one. Well, because I want to buy gold. Back in the Roman days, since this was the money, right? This was the reserve currency, gold. So if a bigger thing, you'd take an ounce, you could take a half, a quarter. So think about it as money. There's $1, there's 50-cent pieces, there's quarters, dimes, nickels, pennies. Why do they sell pennies, right? They're not worth anything, but that's what. So this is kind of for this. So that's fine. I don't need, I won't probably sell too many ounces. I'll buy a house and I'll buy a car probably with the ounces. I can't see just here it is. Give me my 50 or who what it'll be because it won't be in dollars. So anyway, so I'm at the car dealership getting my oil changed. I trade on football picks for oil changes. So this is the finance manager, and he they call him and they say Teaser King's here for his oil change. You pay for it, right? To get the authorization. He says, of course. And then so they give me a free oil change, and I go in his office and we bullshit about gold, silver, economics, and football. So he learns, I get a free oil change. So that's barter, right? Trying to figure out barter. And then I talked to the sales manager. So went there. So I got my gold, went there, went to the pool. And then that was it. I went to the pool, ran to the grocery store for some of that. And I'm just tired. Work's going fine and everything. So I'm having a conversation with the salesman. Well, first I talked to the finance manager, the guy who writes up, okay, we're going to give it to you. Car loans now are up to 8%, 7.5%, 8%. The guy says it's $850 now for an auto loan. This is Toyota, a Tacoma, a Camry, a RAV. These guys are paying $800 a month for the payments. How the fuck do you afford $800 a month? I mean, you still got your house and your electricity and your gas and everything. Can't sell any electrics. Nobody wants them. Say's Law, which is what we're going to talk about. I saw a very interesting article from Alligator on Say's Law, so I wanted to pass that on to you. So he's asking me, is the dollar going out? And I tell him, yeah, I told you it's going out. It's the inflation. I said, that's how you tell the real inflation number is you guys have to raise the interest rates. And he's looking at me. I go, think about it. If you want to loan me $20,000 for a car, you want to make money on it, right? You're not giving it to me for free. You want to make so much money. But because the money's unstable, because this is going to the shit house to zero, you have to charge me a higher interest rate. So that's the best way to really judge inflation is the interest rate's now 7-8% on an auto loan. And then I said to him, so you buy this because this will hedge the inflation. No matter what the money does, this is your savior. This will keep you ahead of the game. So I'll repeat this. So he's into Bitcoin, and I said to him, the difference is, how's Bitcoin valued? And he says, in dollars, right? I says, what is it, 25? He says, it's back to 30,000. I said, okay. But if the dollar goes out, what's it worth? Is Bitcoin worth anything alone? No. At least we don't know. This, if the dollar goes out, won't fucking matter. This will have its own value. This has gold value. It can buy houses, cars, golf clubs, whatever you want. People will take this. This is money. So you're buying money, and this will always have a value. You don't care if it's in US dollars. You don't care if it's in BRICS currency. This will have its own value. Gold's value is it'll buy a house for an ounce. This will buy me so it's 50,000, 5,000, 1/10. This will buy me, I can't buy me a car, but buy me a vacation and other things for the 250 I spent on it. But gold has its own value because it is money. So the light went on, right? He goes, that's the best reason you've ever given about why I should buy gold, because he's heavily in Bitcoin. And I've told him, let's say we're sitting at the casino and you're up $5,000 playing blackjack. Do you keep playing and give it back, or do you start putting some in your pocket saying, I'm going to walk away winning at least 3,000, right? That's how you, a professional gambler plays. He gets up, he puts it in his pocket, he guarantees victory because he knows he's going to have bad days. Okay, if I'm up $5,000, I'm putting $4,000 in my pocket. I'm going to play the other grand because I'm hot. And if I win another $5,000, that goes in the pocket. So I said to him, well, he's up, I don't know, 60, 70,000 and big bought it, supposedly when it's $50 or $100. Everybody bought it then, didn't everybody? I don't know anybody that bought it at 40,000 and it's worth 30. So he finally, I told him to get out. He says, well, I says, he's buying any gold or silver. He doesn't say I bought gold. He says, I bought metals. I said, okay. But after this, when I say, but if the dollar goes away, what's Bitcoin's value? But gold doesn't need the dollar. The light went on. He's like, okay, now I get it. So I've saved another family of. He says, where should I stay in America? He says, is America through? I go, it's all going east. He said, should I move to China or Russia? I go, you don't want to live in a communist country. As far as I know, you're a dictator in Putin. You don't want to live in Russia unless you're part of the mafia, and you definitely don't want to live in China. You'll never get the fuck out of there. They'll chain you up. They'll stop the banks. Everybody's poor there, according to the Chinese guy at the Chinese restaurant. So not a place you leave. It's not a place you live. It's a place you leave. I said, maybe Switzerland, Austria, Sweden, maybe those, if they're not too socialist. You can't go to a socialist country. You got to go to a Austrian economics, capitalism country to have your freedom, because eventually in a socialist communist country like Canada or Russia, the government takes over, and that's the problem, right? The government runs everything. You don't have the free market, which I'm going to get to in Say's Law in a few minutes. So the government gets bigger and bigger. They control everything. They tax you to death. They keep you down. That's why you need, like here, supposedly we're free, but as you can see, how free are we? And that's why we buy this, because this is freedom. This gets us off the books, off the radar, and we're going to make a lot of money with this versus that. Hi, Don. Would you take under 8 in Giants game? Please help, Professor. Under 8. Let's see. Under 8. I think I gave the pick. What did I give? Let's see. I like the Niners. Zach Davies is 1-3 with a 7.11 ERA. So I'm not jumping on the under when you got Arizona's pitcher with a 7.11 ERA and they can hit. So this should be a high scoring game. And then you got the Niners, Logan Webb, 6-6 with a 3.11. I like the Niners. Just you got a pitcher with a 3.11 going against a pitcher with a 7.11. So I like the Niners in the game. I wouldn't play it under. You got a pitcher with a 7 ERA. I'm not really looking for a low scoring game. You got Verlander was going against a low ERA last game, and it was a 4-2 final. Even though Verlander lost, it's if he plays another ace, you bet him under. So here, I can't play a 7-11 pitcher in an under game. And Arizona can hit. So I'm not, if anything, I'd go over, but it's look to take the Niners because their pitcher's a good pitcher with a 3.11 ERA. So they should win at home. So Don, I would take the game. I would take the Niners in that one. Crazy how the early starts. I'll be on about 11:30 tomorrow, so we'll have plenty of time for baseball. So back at the car dealership, waiting on my oil change. So sales manager, I can see the light going on. Then I talked to him about Say's Law. He says, we can't sell electric cars. I go, that's because it's Say's Law. You sell what the public wants. If there's no demand for something, why would you sell it? He says, nobody wants them. Nobody ever wanted them. So Toyota's got these electric cars that nobody wants, even the hybrids, he says, he can't sell. He says, however, we ship our cars to Kentucky and I think Florida and Tennessee. They pay like $1,000 over sticker on the cars. So now, Say's Law again. Here, there's no demand, but in Tennessee, Kentucky, and Florida, there's big demand for Toyota. So again, he says you can't hold the cars. He says people are waiting. We can't produce them fast enough because they're fucking around with the electric cars that nobody wants. So you're making a product nobody wants, and the product everybody wants, you're not making. It's just fucking crazy. Hey, Nick. Yeah, everything's fine. Yeah, I missed you. I sent you an email on a lock like a week ago to take McCullough, and it won, so I hope you had it. Cast LSU Wake under last night in baseball. College World Series, I guess you knew the pitchers or something. If you had good pitchers, sure. That's a smart bet. I don't know. I didn't look at it. But anyway, I got football college all set. I got to go get my magazine this week, but I've already got the games listed, the new coaches, and I got to do a little bit on the quarterbacks. I'm taking LSU week 1 against Florida State. Okay. Got 2 aces. Very good. Yeah, that's what you got. You're learning, Nick. See, that's the biggest key. This is why I fought you on your formula, because you got to get the right variables. And in your case, the right variables now is pitching in baseball, quarterbacks and defense in football, basketball. That's exactly what you find is the variable. Lauren Taylor, Jimmy Johnson, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice. That's what you're looking to bet on, is that. You're looking to bet on the gold. The gold in the game is what you're betting on. You got to find the gold, and it's different. Some teams are Giants or Lawrenceville. We bumped into Kansas and over last year, and we bumped into TCU, who could score like hell, and we bumped into UCLA and Utah. And by the way, Rising looks fine. He's running with just a knee brace on. I can't imagine him not playing. Big revenge game. They're only laying 9. You got to love them against Florida with Rising at home. They never should have lost last year, but try to get them 9 down to 3. I can't imagine. And I don't know who's Florida's new quarterback. He's never played before, unless he's a transfer portal guy. Yeah, we'll do college. I'm ready for college football. I hate baseball since I left the league. Okay, Bobby. Well, we already did baseball. There was only a couple of games. They all started at like 6:45 now. That tells you when you have a bad product, you're in a hurry to get it over with, like a root canal. So I want to go into a little economics. Or should I go into college football? You guys are waiting for that. I want to do college football. I can do econ. But anyway, don't worry. This is $22. Oh, here's the latest bullshit COMEX price at the end of the day. So 22.42 silver and 19.21 gold, and I'm laughing my ass off. Look at the 10 o'clock. It peaked at about 9:50, and then at 10, it took a little bit of time. It did its 10 o'clock drop from 10 to noon, going from 1935 to 1921. The gold guy was telling me about it, and I just laughed. I says, it happens every day at 10 o'clock. That's London redoing their pricing. Go to college football. So I will tell you what I have done in the professor's way. So now it's pretty much now filled out more. I got a little bit more to go in the quarterback. So new coaches. Now there was 25 new coaches. There might have been more, but I think they just ranked at 25. Professor, you think UCLA is going to be good this year? Yeah, they got the quarterback from Kent State. he wasn't too bad. And now he's at UCLA with better players. I think the coach has it going. Thompson Robinson was good. But I think it's kind of a plug and play. I think this quarterback will run that off. I think it's that offense. It's like Ohio State and Alabama. Watch. You got two guys, brand new, probably freshmen, are going to walk in. This is my point about let's look at Ohio State. This is my point about Ohio State. The new quarterback will come in, throw for 40 touchdowns and 5 picks. Maybe let's say 8 picks, right? Because he's at Ohio State, because it's a system. If quarterback was playing at Northwestern, he would touchdowns and 12 interceptions. But because he's at Ohio State, the same quarterback will go 40 and 8. And that's my whole point. Look at Tagliabue's brother. He can't make the Alabama team, so he transfers to Maryland like a baby. Max, Jones, and then he sucks at New England. And at Maryland, the guy sucks. He's like 25-12 or something. Nothing big. He'll probably get drafted because he's Tagg's brother or some shit like that. Like Tagg's any good. Man. So basically, there he goes to Maryland. He doesn't light it up. This is my whole thesis on why you don't draft Alabama and Ohio State quarterbacks. Same thing with Alabama. The new guy will come in, 40 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. It's just the system. Anybody can come in, just pick a name out of a hat. He can come in and he'll throw 40 touchdowns and 8 interceptions at Alabama or at Ohio State because it's a fucking system. It's not the skill set. So, again, put these quarterbacks. So, Tagg's brother, supposed to be at Alabama, goes to Maryland. He's a 25-12 guy. That's my whole thesis. That's why you don't draft these guys, because they're not really that good outside of the system. And when a freshman comes in, how many freshmen come in and just get the pick and just light it up? With Alabama and Ohio State, they do. Look at the guy at Michigan. He still sucks. He came in, he was like, maybe 20-7 or something, or 20-10, and all they do is hand off and run the ball. So Michigan's system is we're going to power run you and play strong defense, and occasionally we'll pass the ball. That's their stock. That's it. So if you're a good quarterback, you don't go to Michigan. You go to Ohio State or Alabama or UCLA, where now TCU or Tennessee. If I'm a good quarterback, that's where I'm headed, not Michigan, Northwestern, Illinois, any of those teams. So anyway, that's your plays. So let's look at it. Notre Dame 2048. Now I'm going to get into the further analysis now. I got Navy as an under team. I got Notre Dame as an A team without Hartman. Let's not forget that Hartman from Wake Forest. That gives them an extra 14 points a game they're going to score with this guy. This guy's not a system. He did it at Wake. Imagine if this guy went to Ohio State. He'd have won the Heisman Trophy by 50 points. He'd have thrown 60 touchdowns and 5 interceptions at Ohio State. So I think, I definitely think UCLA will be good, Bobby. I think it's all up to their defense. So they're either going to be a great over team or they'll be an A team, depending on the defense. Nick, can't wait for the Pac-12 overs, UCLA, USC string offense in Week D. Yeah, and Utah and Oregon and Washington. So Oregon's quarterback's back, Bo Nix. Washington's quarterback's back, Penix. We know Rising's back. We know Williams is back at USC. Schlee, who's from Kent State, is at UCLA, so it's not like they got a new quarterback. Washington State, are they going to have that strong defense? Arizona, do they have Jake LaRua from Washington State transferred to – it's either Arizona or Arizona State, but he played at Washington State under Mike Leach, so if he's still there, that's why I need my book. But Arizona and Arizona State were just as explosive. You just didn't – and they had no defense. It's just set up. Them and the Big 12 are just set up for overs, and the Big 10 and the SEC set up for unders. I mean, it's just great. Bobby, that's true, Nick. By the way, Professor, you like USC San Jose State over week 1. Let me get to that. God, I hate Bo Nick. Well, he's not at Auburn anymore. Auburn's got that old coach they had, Hugh Freeze. I think he went to Old Miss, and now he's back at. I think he's back at Auburn. I don't know. Maybe it was Florida, but he's a good coach. I agree. Bo Nix is the college Mac Jones. He had some big games last year. Yeah, the Georgia game, but who really looked good against Georgia? So let's see. Your question is USC San Jose State. No, I don't think it's an over. Well, first of all, I don't have an over-under on it, or at least I didn't as of last weekend. So we can jump to that game. So let's get through the Navy Notre Dame game. Notre Dame minus 20 with Hartman. Navy's an under team. They don't score. They have a fairly good defense. They got a new coach, and I was shocked. That guy, that one coach was great, and he's gone. Newberry is the defensive coordinator, so he's going to be the head coach. Wait and see. We know Notre Dame. They got their coach, and they add Hartman. They lost some defense. They were an A team last year. They'd score a bunch, good defense. They play Navy every year, so it's not a surprise to them to face the Navy team. They usually beat them. With Hartman, I like Notre Dame here, minus 20 down to minus 14. But it's Hartman's first game. He's got to get used to the new plays, the new players, the new receivers. But Hartman's so good that I just don't see where he I think they can cover the 14 because they see Navy every year. They didn't see Navy. Navy and Army are very hard teams, and Air Force to play because you can't practice them because what they do is full speed, and what you practice at, you're not sure. And that I'm sitting at a poker table and at MGM, and the guy sitting next to me was Jim Harbaugh's roommate his year in the 80s, Michigan. And he was, and they played Bo Jackson and Auburn in the Sugar Bowl. And I said, "Were you guys ready for it?" He says, "We were so." And then we started talking Army Navy. He says, "But it's very hard to get used to it. If you don't see it, you can't practice it because they do it at such a fast speed. But we run option, but we could see it. So that's why." And they lost like 7-6 or something. It was a good under game. I think I had Michigan in 9 with it was with my Florida State or something like that. I ain't one of those. But anyway, so that's what he tells me. So I always, when Army Navy play, it's an under every fucking year because they know the whole scheme. So both Army and Navy are trying to get a little more passing into it because they don't want to be that obvious. So over under 48. It's hard with Hartman to go under, but Notre Dame's defense, Navy's got a new coach. Is Navy going to score a lot on Notre Dame? How much is Hartman going to do? So we got to wait and see. I'm feeling an under here because I just think Hartman's got to get used to it. Notre Dame's defense should be good, but I don't know. Navy started scoring a little last year, so we'll get back to that one. So to answer Bobby's question, let's look at San Jose State, USC. Now, this is last year's finish. Again, with the portal, everything changes, but let's see. We got San Jose State, a B team, a good scoring team, and a good defense. USC's an over team, so they score a lot and no defense, as we know. What was your question? You like USC San Jose State over? It depends. Probably. Well, first, I don't have the number yet. Maybe I have it now. Let's see. USC should score. The question is, how strong San Jose State's defense? It was a good defense last year. Let's go to college football. Here we go. 63.5. Where's my pen? Aha. Hiding under my almonds. Okay. So we got SC 30 and 63. Notre Dame is still basically 20, 48.5. So little halves I don't care about. So do I like this game over 63? Well, we know USC is going to bring you probably mid-30s easy, if not 40. At home, they got the quarterback. They got the system. And then what do they do defensively? San Jose State, this is where you got to see, did they lose a lot of defense in graduation? However, we love the coach, I think. They have the guy who was name. Anyway, I think San Jose State's got the real strong coach, and he's a good defensive coach. I'll have to get it for you. But Washington State was 29-7, like a 46. I don't think San Jose State's as strong as Washington State defensively. I don't know at this stage. I know. So we give USC 40 points. Does San Jose State get 20? We'll have to see about their quarterback. I got to do the quarterback analysis, but basically it could get to 57. USC at home, they're going to run it up. But San Jose State's not that bad and a pretty good defense. So I wouldn't want to run too much. Nick just bought tickets to Georgia, Tennessee, and Tennessee. Well, that'd be a good game. Yeah, that'd be exciting. And Georgia will be Georgia. They're supposed to got a great quarterback, Georgia, to replace our guy. We will see. And then we'll see who Tennessee's back. But it doesn't matter with Josh Heupel. Tennessee will have a good – they're like TCU. They're like UCLA. It's just good offense. Look out. Probably the best over team, I think, is Ohio State. Great offense, no defense. Their defense blew last year. UCLA, Washington, UCLA, Baylor, Oklahoma. Let's see if Oklahoma's defense got any better. It's funny, they get this great defensive coordinator, make him the head coach, and their defense blows. And their offense is great. I mean, it's just like, what the fuck? How about Nebraska in a teaser with Minnesota? I actually like Minnesota in that one. Should I go play blackjack? How do you feel? Whatever you do, you better have a stopper. So, in other words, bring like $300, $500. That's all I'm going to lose. Play progressive. If you win, you increase your bet. If you lose, you go back to the minimum bet. Now, I don't know what your table is. Hopefully, it's a $10 table or something like that where you're looking for the streak. So, let's say you're at a $10 table. Take $300-$400. If it's $10, it goes to 20, it goes to 30, it goes to 50. You keep it at 50, 70, 100. So you kind of, as you're going, you're increasing your bet because you're hot. Now you got 100, you win. Now you play it again and it loses. You go back to $10. You don't fuck around. And then you're looking for the next streak. Now what you can also do is, okay, I won the 10, I won the 20. Now go up to 100. You've won 2 in a row. Now you jump on it for the 100. And then if you win, you keep the 100. And if you lose, you're back to 10. But then the pressure's on that third bet. You better win the 100 or you're fucked. So you can build, but that's the only way to win at blackjack, not this card counting crap. Just because there's a lot of 10s in the deck doesn't mean you're getting them. The movies, kind of give you this bullshit. impression of that. You can just as easily lose counting cards as winning, but you don't have it. All right, Bobby, Nebraska and a teaser with Minnesota. Now, why I like Minnesota, because Nebraska's got Rule. All right, so it's 831. So the spread is Minnesota 7.5, 46.5. Minnesota has a great defense. I think it was like 12 or 13 points a game last year. However, they played Wisconsin and Iowa, so that helped. And Illinois, those are very low-scoring defensive teams also. But Nebraska, they're a W. I mean, they have no offense. They got the quarterback from Texas. I don't know if he's still there. They have a terrible defense. We don't want to bet bad defenses, right, Bobby? So the better defense here, the better team's Minnesota as a B team, a good coach, an under defense. How the hell is Nebraska going to do anything? And the spread 7.5. We can tease Minnesota down to 1.5 at home, and we're betting their defense, which should still be there. Again, I got to check. I got to get the fucking magazine. As long as they're intact, they gave up 12 points a game. I'm knocking around betting against this team. So I like Minnesota minus 1.5 right away, just based on the defense. Again, we're looking at the defense. However, that's last year's defense. So we've got to we know what we're getting with USC. We know what we're getting with Utah. UCLA should be a high-scoring team. We got a new quarterback. We got Washington, should be high-scoring. Oregon, maybe a little bit better defense. We know what we're getting with Tennessee, TCU, Baylor. We know those are high-scoring teams, and they won't change. Oklahoma maybe gets better defensively. Texas, we got Manning Jr. What the fuck? Is he a choke like Peyton? Remember, in 4 years, Tennessee could not. In 4 years, Manning he always choked there. As good as he supposedly was, he was all show and no heart. So let's see what his son does, but he'll probably be effective and maybe make it more of an over team. Last year they were running Bijan Robinson all the time and playing defense. This year, obviously, they're going to pass more. So the quarterback's the key to that. But anyway, that's what we're looking at. So let's look at game 2. UMass, New Mexico State. Mexico State ended up being a B team. They scored a lot, decent defense. UMass was the Z team. They scored like 17 points, gave up 40. I love New Mexico State, provided the quarterback is still there and healthy. I think it's Pavia. If he's there, there's going to be a massacre. New Mexico State by 40. Just make sure he's there. So I got to check that out. But they'll kill him. It's at New Mexico State. They're much the better team. How many people are transferring from Ohio State to UMass, right? So I don't think UMass did much on the portal. If they had anybody that was decent, they probably left. In New Mexico State, as long as their quarterback's there, he's one of these passer, good runner, and look for them to kill. So this could be our lock, New Mexico State, but not yet. I'm a little premature on that. San Diego State, Ohio. San Diego State minus 3.5. And let me look at the over-under. The over-unders look like they're in now. New Mexico State, UMass, the over-under is 44. Ohio, San Diego State, the over is 50. Hawaii, 56. Okay. And LTech is 60. Wow. And I think I got everybody else. So if we look at this, Ohio, San Diego State minus 3.5, over under a 50. I love this game under. First of all, okay, Ohio has a bad defense, but San Diego State plays under games. They run the ball, they don't score that much, and their defense is tough. They'll probably shut out Ohio or to be very low scoring because that's their system, is a defensive system. So look for a 23-3 game or something. So we love this game under. Even though Ohio's got a weak defense, San Diego State's not going to take it. They don't have Joe Montana. They got Joe Blow as their quarterback, but they run the fall. Remember LaDainian Tomlinson there. And they always have some pretty good running backs and lousy quarterbacks. So look for this game to be a low-scoring game with San Diego State controlling the clock and the defense. Vanderbilt, 17.5, 56 against Hawaii. Vanderbilt is a W, so they don't score a lot. They got a weak defense. However, not against Hawaii. Hawaii is a Z. They don't score at all, and their defense is terrible. I look for this game to go over. I think Vandy puts up probably in the mid-40s on it. We're teasing it down to 50. We need 10 fucking points from Hawaii. Vandy doesn't really have the defense to do anything. Hawaii, so they had the new coach, new quarterback last year. So now they've had a year. Now they're working on it. Should be able to find us 2 touchdowns against the vaunted Vandy defense. And Vandy might hit the 50 by themselves. So, again, this game's in Vandy. Last year they killed them at Hawaii, I believe. So I like this game over. So USC, San Jose State, USC minus 30 and over under 6. So if USC covers the 30, they cover the 63 down to 57. We'll have to check San Jose State. Again, good coach, not a great under team, but they probably give up 20 a game in the Mountain West, not against USC. So I look for USC in the 40s here. It's what does San Jose State do? So this will be, they could be competitive, good coach. They're a very good MAC team, or a WAC team, whatever you call them, Mountain West team. So this is not the play to take USC lay the 30 or jump on the 63. I would against Hawaii or against Ohio. Last year we had UCLA Bowling Green. Bowling Green with the weak defense. We knew. But you got a pretty good team. San Jose State is not a Z team. They're a B team and a good defensive team. So they're going to hold USC a little bit. We'll see what they're out. The key is the turnovers. If they keep it turnover free and they kind of milk the clock to keep SC off the field and have a good running back, I don't know if this game gets to the 60s. However, if they start panicking and throwing pick sixes and strip sacks, then it does get over. So I think they'll try to keep the game low scoring at a slow pace, the only way they can win. But this is not the team to just jump lock over. We'll get to those teams. Louisiana Tech minus 10.5 and 60 against Florida International. Florida International is the Z team. Louisiana Tech is an over team. They score a lot. Neither team's got a defense. Florida International just sucks. Question is, how good is L Tech? And then you got 2 bad defensive teams, so it should be an over. But we got to see how bad Florida. I mean, they're a Z team because they score 15 points a game. Not somebody I want to really. I got to go over 54 on. So if that's the case, then I take L Tech minus the 4 because L Tech will score and Florida International can't counter them and can't come back. So we have to see. But L Tech's defense is not one. Kent State, UCF, very interesting game here. Kent State was the team that I bet against Washington in the first week and we won. And I took them, I took the under in the Georgia game. They scored 22 on Georgia in week 2 or week 3 last year. We did win the under because they just ran the fourth quarter away and no points. We won it by 3 or 4 points, but they did, last year they went and played at Washington and went and played at Georgia. Give them a lot of credit. UCF is an A team. They're laying 30 here. They got a pretty good defense. Kent State is an over team. I got Coach Burns. I don't know if he's any good or not. So you got to be leery of a new coach. Is he going to fuck around like Cristobal did with Van Dyke, where sudden Van Dyke's throwing 40 touchdowns and 10 interceptions in 9 games. And now last year he was like 28 and 10 because they fucked around with his offense. That's why you got to worry about new coaches. So I can't really jump on Kent State till we know enough about the coach. They are an over team, so I would expect that UCF should light it up, laying 35. But I could see UCF, the A team, Burns, and the style is going to play. Last year, Kent State would have stayed with them easy. I would have taken the 41, which I did against Washington. It looked like 30-something. But here, a little different. Not loving. I think you got to take UCF, but then I got to lay 35. So I got to see more. Now, the Kent State quarterback, I said, he's at UCLA. So he's there, not at UCF or not at Kent State. So who's their new quarterback? Good question. See, that's the problem. They got the new quarterback. Is he Joe Montana or Joe Blow? And that's what you got to see. And that's what gets you is all of a sudden he's Van Dyke and Rising. He wasn't those. Neither of them were starters. He came in and like weak for suck. Like, what are you doing? That's the problem. So you've got to understand when they have the new quarterback, just exactly who. You don't have enough information to really bet it. You don't know what you're going to get. You have to see. Now, in the San Jose State USC game, we'll learn a lot from them because they're playing a good opponent, USC. In Vanderbilt in Hawaii, we won't learn anything because if Vanderbilt beats 52-0, we haven't learned anything because that was against Hawaii. If Hawaii puts up a 50 on Vanderbilt, now we're going to bet Hawaii over every week because Vanderbilt's an SEC team. They're not that bad. And if Hawaii can do it. So it depends on the opponent. What you do with it. So like if Ohio puts up a 40 on San Diego State with that defense, now we're going to look to bet Ohio a lot, especially in conference. So let's see what happens. NC State 16 over Connecticut, over under 54. NC State's an under team, great defense, as we know. The quarterback actually transferred. I know that, so he's not even there anymore. And Connecticut 35. Enough that they weren't a Z. So the difference between a W and a Z doesn't get 20 points a game. They have no offense. The W scores like 22, so they give you some offense, and their defense still sucks. So that's what Connecticut was last year, although they are getting a little bit better. NC State just doesn't score. I love the under here, 54 under 60. NC State always has a good defense, and they'll have a new quarterback, and Connecticut doesn't score. But NC State really can't. If this is North Carolina, I couldn't bet it under. They would light it up. They'd put up 50 on them. But NC State doesn't have that offensive style. They're not looking to put up 50 points, and they probably won't. Connecticut was pretty good last year. We're getting better. They went from a Z to a W. They'll tweak their defense a little bit. So I think that's a good under because NC State's defense is so strong. And they'll be strong no matter what. As long as that's what they coach. Defense, like Alabama's defense is good every year. Georgia's defense is good every year. Iowa State, as long as they keep the coach. Iowa, as long as the coach is there, they're going to have the defense because they'll recruit defensive players. Florida and Utah, boom. Utah 9-51. Rising will be playing Florida with the new coach. We have to see who, or quarterback. So we got to do some checking. Probably that's coach with Levi Lewis, who won us a lot of money a couple years ago. So he's the Florida coach, but not here. We're not in the swamp. We're in the mountains, and it's thin air. And Utah's pissed off of a revenge game and I got a feeling this is going to be like 28-0 first quarter. I think Utah's just going to have fire in their eyes after losing. They want to get off to a good start against Florida. They want to get into the playoff. Teams like Utah, not Ohio, Alabama, Kansas State, teams that missed the bowl, USC, that missed the playoffs, definitely have something to grind for this year to say, I'll show you. Utah, I can't believe Utah didn't make the playoffs. They beat USC twice. They lost to UCLA 43-40, and I think they lost to Oregon. That's it. They got 2 losses, but Ohio State comes in, and Utah beat USC twice? Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, that was ridiculous. Well, I think they lost to Florida. That's why Utah. That's why you can't look at – because they got the balls to play Florida, and Ohio State plays Northeast Louisiana, how the fuck do you rank the games the same? I'm a firm believer you got to rank the team you're playing. Should get you like 10. Utah plays Florida. Utah should get 10 points for playing at Florida. And Ohio State playing Northeast Louisiana should get 1 point. Let's add the points up into the year instead of the wins and losses. Just because somebody has balls and plays a hard schedule. Utah didn't have to. They're fucking full with USC, UCLA, Washington, Oregon. They fucking don't need to play Florida. So give Utah credit, not punish them. But they should have been in the. They would have given Georgia all they wanted. I thought Kansas State would have too. Nebraska mini we talked about. So we like Utah -3. And we don't know the Florida, or this would be an over with Rising, and Rising might get the over. Over is 51, over 45. They might get there, but Utah always has a good defense. So, I just want to take Utah. Minnesota, we talk 7.5, 46.5. I think it's an under. I think it's a play. Matt Rule, the coach in Nebraska, he did good at Temple. Goes to Baylor, not too bad. Why he leaves Baylor for Carolina is guy's out of his fucking mind. The problem with coaching in the pros is you're stuck with the quarterback they give you. In college, you can get the transfer portal. You can get your own quarterback. He had pretty good quarterbacks at Baylor. Even at Temple, he had that P.J. Walker who's in the pros. So that's kind of what you look for. Oh, and she's like an 8. She's really pretty, really nice. Well, there's this 10 over there that's really beautiful, but she's a bitch. And you leave your good girl who treats you nice for this other who you got to wait on, and it's not a connection. That's what I think these coaches do when they leave college for the pros. They don't have, like Urban Meyer says, it's like playing Alabama every week. What did you think the pros are going to like, Urban? So, I mean, it's just beyond stupidity. They're clearly there for the money. So it's like you date the 10 for the sex, but then she can't talk and think. So you really want to go back to your other girlfriend who was a better fit. So like Frost was a much better fit there than going to Nebraska and having to play Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, Iowa every year. And good luck winning those games. UCF and your biggest competition was SMU or something. So anyway, that's what I think of that. So Minnesota -1.5. We're betting the defense. I think Morgan's still there. Good coach. Nebraska Rule. What's he going to do? They have no offense and a terrible defense. And he ain't going to fix all that the first game of his first season. And it's at Minnesota. So I like Minnesota here. Conference game. They need it. That's 826 to 831. Let's go to 9-1. We got Miami against Miami. Are you going to fuck around with my Van Dyke this year? This is the key. Miami is lane 1751. Miami of Ohio is an under team, unfortunately. We'd rather have this game against Ohio, who's an over team with no defense. Miami of Ohio is an under team with a strong defense, stronger. Miami was an E team, so they'd score 24-25, give up 24-25. The year before, they would score 40 and give up 30. They're a beautiful over team. Not last year. Now, what is crystal ball? How is he going to fuck up Van Dyke this year? So let's see. 17. I can't lay 17 even though I have Van Dyke, and if you'll just let him play, he'd easily cover this. Miami won't score. But let's see how strong their defense is. I think Miami comes out and I think they win this game. Over under 51. Again, you're always leery to play an under with Van Dyke because of that. Miami probably won't score. I don't know. Give me a score. 31-10 maybe. So that's 45. Yeah, that's a hard one. Until we know more. Who's the Miami? How many players did they lose? Who's their quarterback? Things like that. So I haven't gotten to the quarterback thing yet. Just some of them. Central Michigan, Michigan State. Michigan State 14.5. Over under 52. I love this game over. Central Michigan has that old Colorado State coach who was really good. Goes to Florida. And the looks betray him. And then he's like, yeah, she's not for me. And now he's at Central Michigan. So he's a good offensive mind. And Michigan State, everybody left. They were an E team. They were both E teams with weak defenses. Michigan State defense didn't get any better. They all transferred out. But they do have Peyton Thorne, who was a very good quarterback. They lost receiver, got drafted. So they got no defense. So you've got two no defenses, over under only a 52. So we go over 46 is 28-20. That's going to be the halftime score. So I like this game over. Again, you have decent quarterbacks and weak defenses, and neither defense is getting any better week one. If anything, maybe you'll see State's defense get a little better, but I don't think so. Coach is terrible, and the players don't want to play for him. They're all transferring out. So he's going to bring in new transfer guys. Yeah, sure he will. All right, Louisville and Georgia Tech, two new coaches. Brom, who used to coach at Louisville, goes to Purdue, doesn't look that good at Purdue, back to Louisville. He's explosive. Louisville was a B team last year, so they would score a lot and had a weak defense. Georgia Tech was a W. They didn't score and had a weak defense. I like Louisville in this game, -2, because Jeff Brom is such a good coach. Hopefully he's got a quarterback. That's the thing with the transfer portal. I'm sure a good quarterback went there because he's a good coach. I don't know who this Key guy is. So Georgia Tech's new coach is Key. Not very good. So I don't see Georgia Tech doing anything. I can see Louisville getting rolling. Let's check the quarterback, but only laying 2 with this coach, you definitely like it. Stanford and Hawaii. Now, we mentioned Hawaii on 8-26. Here comes Hawaii on 9-1. 27, 28, 29, 30. After 5 days, be leery of that. Stanford's a 9.5 point favorite, 57. Both teams were Z teams last year. Stanford sucked. Neither team has a defense. Let's see what Hawaii does against Vandy. Maybe they start scoring. I doubt they'll have a defense. Stanford, Tanner Key sucks. I don't know if they would have a new quarterback. The other guy, and they got a new I don't know. What do you do with this game? Score and no defense. And Hawaii has an explosive offense, but let's see what Hawaii looks like against Vanderbilt. That's the advantage. I think USC also plays, and maybe San Jose State played twice like this. Army and Lou Monroe. Army's a B team, very good offense, great coach, love the coach. Of course, they got 5 or 6 that just run in and out. Lou Monroe's a W team. No offense, no defense. I love Army. Army's laying 7.5 here. Again, we cut Army to 1.5. How the fuck are you going to beat Army with that offense and a strong defense? And they go to Oklahoma. They go to Michigan. I mean, these guys play some good football. And, last year they lost to Coastal Carolina, and they lost to Hartman and Wake Forest. And they let up a lot of points, but who wouldn't to Hartman and to McCall? So here they're playing Lou Monroe, who doesn't have an offense, and no defense. Army's going to win big, I think. And we're only laying 1.5. It's a perfect, what are they thinking? 7.5 with Army? Lou Monroe is not going to be able to defend this team at all. And Army's working on a passing game on Wake and on Coastal Carolina. They put up 35, 40 points. So let's look for Army to blow out Lou Monroe. That's a very good play there with Army, strong defense. And they'll have the same defense. Nobody transfer portals to Army, that's for sure. And Army doesn't lose people because they're there. They committed for the 4 years. So they'll be very solid and good Army there. Interesting game here. Tennessee and Virginia. Tennessee with the over with Josh Heupel, a over coach, going against Virginia, who's an under team. No quarterback. I think the quarterback transferred out. Who the hell's the quarterback? They have a decent defense. Last year, Tennessee went to Pitt. We bet it over and barely got there, even though all we needed was 1 touchdown the whole 4th quarter. We got it with like a minute left. But it was a high-scoring game. So I don't think Virginia's defense is going to slow down Josh Heupel. So how good was Hooker? It's a system. I guarantee that's a system play. So the new quarterback should walk right in and throw for 500 yards like it's no big deal. It's the system. So minus 28. Bad defense. Maybe this goes over, but we got to see what Virginia looks like. It's a hard one. I think the spread's a little high to lay 22 with Tennessee because Virginia is an unknown, but I think they definitely put up 40 points on them. The question is, what does Virginia look like this year? That'll be the key. Bowling Green and Liberty. Now, before we dismiss Liberty, we have to understand that they got the Coastal Carolina coach. He leaves Coastal Carolina and comes to Liberty. I could see him going to Purdue or, one of those, but goes to Liberty. Liberty's laying 11-51. We got Bowling Green, who's a W team, no offense and no defense. So they're going to score a lot. Liberty's going to come out with this whole new offense that he used with McCall. And you got to like this game over because I think Liberty is going to light with this whole style of offense with coach. So you gotta bet the coach sometimes also, or at least the coach's personality. So again, you're betting this is an offensive minded coach. McCall, nobody hears of. All of a sudden, he's a superstar. So you gotta put that into perspective. That Liberty would have got a good quarterback in the portal because they got a good coach. And I don't know where McCall went. He didn't get drafted. I don't know if he was in the draft. It could have been like Bo Nix and Penix and Rising, where they said, fuck it, I can play one more year. I'm going to go play one more year. I don't know. But we'll see who Liberty's quarterback is. But this coach should be offensive. They should put up a lot of points. My box is probably a pretty good bet also, maybe better than the over. But I see Liberty putting up a 40 here. So they should cover the 11 down to 5, and then they get over 45. So it's a both ways here. L-Tech and SMU. L-Tech, didn't they play? Yeah, they got Florida International 826, and now they come back with SMU. Holy fuck, what an opener. His quarterback. It now makes sense. I wondered why Mordecai left SMU for fucking Wisconsin. But now, who's the new coach of Wisconsin? It's the Cincinnati coach from Ohio State, Lou Fickell. Now I understand why Mordecai went to Wisconsin. That's going to be a whole different team. It's going to be Cincinnati, but Cincinnati had pretty good quarterback play. So look for Wisconsin to be a little more scoring. So he walks into a good situation there, but we'll get to that. L-Tech, SMU 17, they're both over teams. Neither team's got a defense. Over under 58. So let's see what L-Tech does against Florida and expecting them to put up a 40 there. Then if they do, then we're going to hammer the over and we know SMU's going to score. I mean, come on, that's what they do, and they don't have a defense. But L-Tech, we'll see week 1. They should kill Florida International, the Z team. But if they can get 20 or 30 here, then we're looking at a 70-point game or over under 58. So this should be a real strong overplay here. East Car and Michigan. Michigan's 35, over under 55. East Car is an over team. Good quarterback in Ehlers. No defense. Michigan, an A team. We're going to run it down your throat, and we have a very good defense. So even if they lost some guys down their throat, if the running back comes back, I know he had a knee problem, but they have backups. Their quarterback sucks, but then he's got to be able to throw. Terribly inaccurate. So of course he'll go third or fourth in the draft next year, like Richardson and CJ Stroud. I love how they're trying to build CJ Stroud up, saying, well, CJ Stroud, he's looking good in practice. He's in shorts. They're not. What are you talking about? He looks good throwing in shorts. Big fucking deal. It's when the 6'6", 300-pound defensive lineman's coming at him. How does he look? Can he read a defense? Can he read a blitz? That's the problem. You don't fucking know. So Michigan, strong defense. It was like a 17 points is all they allowed. East Car should get a few points in the game. Michigan's going to run it down their throats. Michigan in this role, I'm not going to lay in 35 because East Carolina couldn't score. They couldn't put up a late touchdown. Over under 55. I don't know. Michigan at home against these teams kind of runs it up, and then they kind of win, 42-10 or something like that. Probably it's hard to go over with Michigan, but they should score. But I can't lay 35 against a good quarterback at East Car, provided he's still there. So I got to fill in the quarterback row. We'll talk about that again. So we'll go through. This is kind of we're running a half mile, and then we're going to run a mile later. So we're building our stamina here. So hard to lay 35 Michigan with this quarterback against East Car, but they should run it through them. I can't imagine they don't score in the 30s. The question, with a good offense, maybe they score 14. So I hate to go maybe under 61. Should probably be the best play. I don't see how I can take Michigan minus 29. East Car is not that bad, but it does make sense because East Car's defense sucks and Michigan's defense is good. So maybe, but they could be up 24 and that's it, and they run the clock out. So hard to say. Harbaugh is not like Urban Meyer, where he knew what the point spread was, and if it was at the end of the game and they just happened to need a touchdown, Urban would score it, right? Because he knew the spread. Oh shit, we need a touchdown. Okay, second team, yeah, keep throwing the ball because we need one more touchdown. So don't kid yourself. These coaches know that. So right now, Michigan, I got to check it out. Fresno State and Purdue. Purdue's new coach is Walters. Don't know. 6.5, 59 against a good Fresno State team. This might be who I was thinking about, not San Jose State. They got a really good coach, Fresno State. Purdue's 6.5. They're an over team. O'Connell, I doubt he seems like he's been there 4 years already. And they lost their coach, Brom. I don't think Walters is any good. Fresno State's an A team, strong quarterback, strong under. However, that was with Haener. Haener's gone, so let's see who the replacement is. Based on this, I like Fresno State in 12.5. They're a live dog, good defense, A team. However, we got to see who their quarterback is. But good coach. Purdue's not. You don't blow out with a bad defense. Fresno State should find a way. I like the dog here, the 12.5. And again, it's hard to go over under when you have a team. So it's good offense, good defense playing Purdue, who's a good scoring team, but the coach is gone and the quarterback's probably gone and no defense. So it's hard to really, do you go over or under? We don't know because Fresno State's defense is going to shut them down. They could win the game 17-10. That's what you get with these strong defenses. So it's not advisable to bet like a Fresno State over. At best, you bet them under, but we'll see. Utah State, Iowa. Utah State's a W team, not a lot of scoring, and an over. Iowa's an under team, as we know. They're laying 21.5. Over under of 48. 48. It's Iowa. I would have to like the game over. I think Iowa can score on Utah State. Utah State probably gets shut out here with a weak offense. Utah doesn't really score a lot, or Iowa doesn't score a lot, but they have that great defense. I can almost see Iowa in a shutout here, 21-0. Something, maybe not even that, maybe 17-0. So I like under 48. I think that's a big number here. Utah State doesn't have an explosive offense. It's not TCU or Washington. I mean, this is and even them, I might play the game under because it's Iowa. So this is a good under pick here. Utah State probably gets shut out. Ball State, Kentucky. Kentucky, now, Kentucky's an under team, even with Will Levis. I never understood why he was such a highly recruited guy, or we're going to take him the first pick. It didn't make any sense. Kentucky was an under team with a good defense, and they'll still be the same way. Ball State's an E team, so they score in the 20s, give up in the 20s. Kentucky laying 26. I don't see that. I like the game under. Over under 50, you go under 56. You got Kentucky with the strong defense and a new quarterback, and Ball State, who, maybe they score 10 points in the game, but I can't lay 26 with Kentucky. They're not a big scoring team either. This isn't the team. You take UCLA, you can get 26. Kentucky or these under Iowa, you can't lay in the 20s with the team without an offense. Where are you going to get the points? And with a good defense, the teams will punt and they'll try to, get some first downs, and they're not going to score a lot. So you can't start betting these overs. Colorado TCU. TCU 21-61 over under. I think TCU covers the over under. 21, not a problem. The whole Colorado team's gone, which means you got Jackson State playing TCU. Good fucking luck with that. Prime time, might have his foot amputated. I don't know what happened with that. He already lost 2 toes, so I don't know if he's got diabetes. He's got a circulation problem. I don't know what it is. I'm drinking ginger tea. So I'll show you. So you know what ginger root is, right? So I shaved the root down to this. This is ginger root. Instead of the spiced ginger where it's all little particles, it's like $5 for a little 3-ouncer, but the ginger root is like $3.99 a pound, but you get a bunch of it and it's not $3.99. So what I do is I cut it up and then I shave the little edges, and then I put it into so I boil water. I put the hot water into this other pot with 4 or 5 of those, and I just let it sit, and I put the top on it so it stays hot. And like now, I'm going to go get some more, and I just drink this. My back's absolutely 100% now. Let's call it 99.5. There's a little tweak, but I'm fine with my back. I can sleep. I can walk straight. I've been going to the pool every day doing my stretches. So you kind of stretch like that, you stretch like that. You pull up your left hamstring because it's the right side, and I do a little twisties. I'm fine, and I've been kind of sitting straight, so my back's 100%. I don't know if it's all the stretches or if it's the ginger tea. The ginger is very, very healthy, like the avocado. Let me go get some more. Just a second. So this is the ginger root, right? You see this at the grocery store. You buy it just like this. And then you just take a knife and you cut, edges off. And then you shave it down with like what you would do for a cucumber. You know how you skin a cucumber. And so it's a little piece like I showed you, and you just pop it in the hot water or the cold water, or in your tea and your coffee and your pop, whatever you're drinking. Put some cinnamon in there and some lemon, and you're mighty healthy. I mean, I don't have too many colds and coughs. I just have this stupid problem with my foot and in my back, but they're finally healthy. This is supposed to be very strong cure for you, for like arthritis or all the little backaches you probably have from baseball, your elbow or your shoulder. All the inflammation. This is great for inflammation. So if you have that, try it. But it's like the cocoa and the dark chocolate. It The cocoa is extremely healthy. The lemon is extremely healthy. The ginger root, all that is very healthy. So you know, but you gotta understand these herbs are very good for you. It's like gold. Gold's very good for you. We just don't eat it. But anyway, so yes, now I'm drinking tea. I had coffee before, and I got chicken, but I'm just too tired to make it. And it's already 8:30, so I'll probably have it. I'll cook it tomorrow. Chinese tomorrow. I'm a little pissed at the Chinese lady. I asked her. I was bringing a gold to her. I said, "You guys need gold and silver to protect yourself." And they kind of said, "Oh, we don't make any money. We can't afford it." And I'm talking to the guy at the Toyota dealer, and he says, "Oh, I know them, Lily and Frank or whatever. They own a place." She says they're rich. They come in and they pay cash for their Camrys. And I go, that motherfucker. She told me she didn't have money for silver, which I didn't believe. I think people are trying to be polite, like, I don't want to talk to you about gold or silver, I guess, or I don't want to tell you I have money. And I'm like, so they're saying I don't have money. So then I just discontinue the conversation instead of just saying I'm not interested. I think lying to me is a lot more. So I'm going to tell her tomorrow, like, don't fucking lie to me again. I'm going to send you back to China, and you're going to have to deal with Z, and he'll take all your property. But they're the ones who told me the housing market is crushed. So you're glad you're not trying to rent houses in China, Bobby. You'd be fucked. So anyway, we'll talk about that in a little bit. So we've got TCU 63-0 over Colorado. Sonny Dykes, very explosive coach. They'll replace Dalton, or not Sandy Dalton, Duggan. They'll replace Duggan. I'm sure they got a bunch of good quarterbacks. Primetime is injured, but he don't have weapons in this game. They're only laying 21, over under 61. Colorado is a Z team last year. No offense, no defense. TCU, an A team, killed Michigan, which was shocking, and we loved it. Saying they have to win. Oh no, it's not. Colorado, I keep forgetting, is in the Pac-10. So it's not a conference game, but I think TCU has a good defense. Replace the quarterback. They got to replace the wide receiver, which for a team like TCU is no problem. So I look for TCU to kill them here. Arkansas State, Oklahoma. Arkansas State's a W team. Don't score, no defense. That's what we want to bet on, Bobby, is that no defense if we have an offense. And we have an offense here in Oklahoma. Gabriel's back. The question is Oklahoma's defense. Venables was a great defensive coach at Clemson. He comes to Oklahoma. There's no defense on the field. Texas is still scoring on them. That could be our lock right now, is Oklahoma, Texas taking Oklahoma and the points. If I remember, Gabriel either didn't play or got hurt early, and Texas beat them like 50-0. What a revenge game. We'll take Oklahoma, provided there's no major injuries. I'm looking forward to that. That game's circled on the calendar. Oklahoma's laying 32 to Ark State. Ark State, they should put up a lot here. This is a much better, we can take Oklahoma, Michigan laying 35, Iowa or Kentucky laying 20. We can't take the under teams, Iowa and Kentucky, to lay the 20s. However, Oklahoma being an explosive team, especially with Gabriel, decent defense, but Ark State probably can't hurt us anyway, and their defense isn't going to stop the win. Oklahoma had a bad year. Look for them to be pissed off this year. Look for this to be 50-0 at halftime. I think Oklahoma kills them. I think you can go over 51 because Oklahoma is going to give you the over by themselves. Oklahoma is going to put up a 70 here. depending on their defense, I'm not sure what Ark State's going to score. Maybe they get a late touchdown because the fourth string's in for Oklahoma. But Oklahoma's in the 50s here. No question about it. Ah. Why would New England draft the receiver? This really fucks my mind up. In the first round, they need a receiver. They go to BC, a Z team. How good's the receivers on a Z team? Then they get Boutte in the 7th round. Can somebody explain why they didn't take Boutte in the first round and this BC receiver in the 7th round? I don't understand that. How Boutte lasted the 7th round. These guys are fucking idiots. And especially Cincinnati. Burrow knew him. He must not like him because he's got Chase and he's got T. Higgins, and you add Boutte to that team. Something doesn't make sense there. BC's laying 10-52. Northern Illinois was an over team. They score, and their defense usually is better, was terrible. BC's a Z team. They don't have any offense, and they have a terrible defense. I like Northern Illinois to win the game. You're getting 10. You get 16 in a teaser. Over under a 52. I don't know that BC can score enough to get to the 52. I know Northern Illinois has no problem. This is a game that they aim to win. They're a good team. It's a good MAC team. I like them getting 16. Like I said, I think they win it. BC doesn't show a threat to cover 10, right? 24-21 in this game, maybe. That's all BC is going to be in the mid-20s. Northern Illinois score easily in the mid-20s. BC does not have a defense. Neither team really has a defense, but Northern Illinois much better offense, so they'll be able to score. Yeah, I like the points. Here's where you take Northern Illinois is BC's a Z team, and they have no offense. Even with this first round draft pick, they had no offense. So he's gone. What kind of offense do you think they're going to have? So I like BC. I like Northern Illinois probably to win the game straight out, but definitely with 16 points. That's a joke. Akron and Temple. Akron, the Z team in the MAC. No offense, terrible defense. Temple is a W. No offense, terrible defense. Temple's laying 10. You probably got to like Temple -4. I don't know how you bet over under because neither team can score and neither team has a defense. So saving Akron for the big, they're terrible. South Florida, Western Kentucky. South Florida, new coach because they sucked last year. Golish, never heard of them. Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky starts to make this. They've been the explosive offensive team. Is now getting a defense. I think they scored like 30 and gave up 20 last year. So they're getting much better. They realize they need the defense, and that's what they got. But they always got the quarterback. South Florida's an over team with the new coach. I like Western Kentucky here, laying 13 down to 7. I just feel they're going to score, but their defense should shut South Florida down. South Florida can't stop the win. They have no defense. So, that's it. So I like South Florida. I don't love them, but I like them. And again, we got to see, here's where we check the box scores. How did South Florida do? How did Western Kentucky? How's their quarterbacks? And then we go from there. Ohio State and Indiana. Ohio State, the A team, an under defense, but it was a 21. Normally my unders, I like them to be under 20. They might have been 20 or something. Indiana, a W team. That's terrible defense. This is what we love, Bobby. So we take Ohio State with a strong offense, not a great defense. Indiana with a very weak offense. So in other words, Ohio State's going to score and score because they're pissed off. They lost 2 years in a row to Michigan. They are pissed. And Indiana has no offense. Penix went to Washington. He lit it up. So now you're really wondering what's going on. And they have no defense. Ohio State, they'll put up a 50-point first half because after the Notre Dame game last year where they barely won it, look for them to light it up. I think the coach's job is in trouble because he lost twice to Michigan and made the playoff when he had no business making the playoff. 28, but you got an explosive team laying the 28 with a fairly good defense against the team with not much offense and no defense. I know, this will be on TV. Look for Ohio State to put up a 60 and Indiana not to score. So this 57-3. Let's give Indiana a field goal. I like Ohio State. Lay the 22 here. Indiana just, this is what we want. We're looking for a weak defensive team. That's why I'm pausing on the USC game, because San Jose State's got a good defense, or at least point-wise. Mountain West isn't a bad conference. Fresno State and Nevada in there. So this is the difference, but Indiana sucks. So when you get an Ohio State explosive system team going against a weak defense, they're going to leave the quarterback in because he's got to put his 40 up. He's got to get his numbers up. And so in a system offense, he'll have no problem coming in and boom, boom, boom. And they'll run the ball and they'll pass the ball. He doesn't read blitzes. He just looks at how many guys are in the box. And that tells him to run or pass. And just, Indiana's in trouble here. Over under a 63. It's an over game with Ohio State because they tend to put up the 60s and the 70s. But I don't count on Indiana to score. But, yeah, this is probably an over also. Ohio State's going to kill him. Boise against Washington. Boise, a B team with a good defense. They always have a good defense. Washington, an over team. They scored 40 a game, and they gave up 40 a game. So not really. It's hard to lay the 16 because Boise's defense is pretty good. But I think with Penix, they got a great coach, the Fresno State coach. Laying 10 to Boise, over under 60. Boise's defense keeps me away from the 60, but I do like Washington laying the 10. I think that with Penix and the coach has been there a year, I'm sure the defense will get a little better. Boise's a decent offense. But I just, if it was in Boise, I'd be a little worried. But in Washington, laying 10, I think not a problem. UMass against Auburn. Hugh Freeze is now the coach on Auburn. Very good offensive coach. UMass, the Z team. They get New Mexico State. This would be curious if Auburn wins by as much as New Mexico State's going to win. Auburn laying 38. They both have over defenses. Well, obviously, UMass is a Z by default. That's what a Z is, an over D and an under offense. Auburn's an E team, so they score in the mid-20s. So they don't really have that explosive offense, but Hugh Freeze is a very good offensive coach. So look for Auburn to change, and I think they should kill them because Auburn knows they got Alabama, they got LSU, and I think they get Georgia. So look out. I think that, in other words, we can get a win here. Let's get the win. And I just gave you 3 losers they're going to have. So they need to get the 5 or 6 wins, whatever. So look for Auburn probably to crush them. UMass is so bad. Unless UMass shows something against New Mexico State, which they probably won't. There's going to be a 55-0, especially in Auburn. It's Alabama. This is their big thing, college football, because they don't have pro football there. As they told me, I said, well, you guys don't even have pro football. Well, we got Alabama. Oh, I didn't realize they were pro football. So Auburn's showing them in this game. Here's another big one. Rice and Texas. Rice is a W team. No offense, no defense. Texas was an A team, a good defense. Look for Texas by 50 points. Spreads 35 down to 29. Texas beats Rice by 30, 40 points every year. And like I said, the Texas boils Rice was when I was a kid, and they still boil them. You got Little Manning. He'll probably play a lot just to get used to it. Rice is just pathetic and no defense. So again, Bobby, this is what we're looking for: is the teams with no defense, and we get the explosive offense. They're going to light it up. The defense can't stop them. That's what we're looking for. We don't want to fuck around with like a San Jose State with a good defense or some of these Iowa State. We don't fuck those because they'll shut me down. Good defense can kill my offense, but a weak defense can't do anything I want. If you learn nothing from me, learn that. Don't fuck with the good defense. Fuck with the bad defenses. Buffalo and Wisconsin. This will be a very interesting. You got Lou Fickell, the new coach from Cincinnati. He sucked at Ohio State that year. Went to Cincinnati, got very good. They did very good teams, and now he's at Wisconsin. You know the defense is going to be good. He'll probably bring in the Cincinnati or Ohio State offense. So he's got a quarterback in Mordecai who's 20 times better than anybody they've had except for Russell Wilson. They're laying 24, over under 55. Buffalo's got no defense and a pretty good offense. Wisconsin will not be an under team this year. They'll probably be more of a B team. They'll score 28, 30 points, maybe more, and their defense will be solid. So look for Wisconsin with Mordecai and Fickell. I can see one's 24 now. Buffalo, no defense, but they do have a good offense, but not against Wisconsin. Wisconsin shut them down. This game could be like 41. I mean, Wisconsin can just, with Mordecai and Fickell, can score now. And they'll shut down Buffalo's offense, but Buffalo's defense won't stop Wisconsin. I can see them running, the running backs running for 4 or 5 touchdowns here with the new Fickell and the new quarterback to be much more explosive. That's your quiz for today. What type of team are they? 5, 3, 2, 1. Okay, Cal is a W team. No offense, no defense. North Texas is an over team. Good quarterbacks, score a lot, give up a lot. Now, we got a new coach in Morris from North Texas. Okay. So the question is, Cal cover 9.5 with no offense, right? They don't score a lot. So they can't take advantage of North Texas's weak defense. North Texas scores a ton. Cal has no defense. So how is Cal supposed to blow them out here at North Texas? I like North Texas here because Cal's a weak offensive team and North Texas is pretty explosive. And they got, Cal doesn't have the defense to stop them. This probably goes over because neither team's got a defense. The over-under is 58. It's on principle. Neither defense is any good. Even though Cal's kind of got a weak offense against this defense, they should score 31-30 type of game, I think. I like North Texas more than the over, but I think the over 52 gets there pretty easily. Now we got week 2 USC. We got Nevada. Nevada is a Z team. No offense, no defense. Now we play USC. So we watch USC laying 30 because San Jose State's got a pretty good defense. It's the first game. Let's watch. Now we rock. Now we've got a Z team in Nevada. No offense to worry us. No defense. Now I play USC minus 32 with the Oklahoma offense. Over 63, I can't count on Nevada to score. So I got 50-some points for USC, maybe 60. And I'm laying 38 down to 32. And Nevada, they got nothing. So this is where you take your – so you can see the difference. In week 1, they got a tough San Jose State defense, supposedly, based on last year. Nevada, again, based on last year, has no defense. USC will not have a problem scoring on Nevada that they might have on San Jose State. They're just a better team. Same conference, but San Jose State was like first or second place, and Nevada was last as a Z team. So out of principle, as a Z team, we got to take USC to just kill them. And this will be what USC will do. They'll put up 60 on them. because that's the way the coach is. That's what he did in Oklahoma. He wants to look good. Us. Good luck beating Utah, but this is Nevada. So again, the key with an explosive team is who are they playing? What kind of defense they have? They don't have a defense. How are you going to stop USC without a defense? You can't. They'll score every time they have the ball. That's what we want. We're looking for that matchup. We're looking for the weak defense against my Tennessee's, TCU's, Baylor's, Oklahoma. You give me that's our lot. That's how you figure it out. You're looking for the weak defense. Now, this is last year's defense, but does a team like Nevada really get that much better defensively year to year? Yeah, they're looking for a quarterback, maybe a running back, maybe something to sell to the fan. Look, we got a quarterback. Not the defense. If the defense sucks on a team like Nevada, one year it's going to suck the next year. Nobody's running to Nevada, right? So love USC there. UTSA in Houston would have been a great game last year with Frank Harris, who I believe is gone, and Houston has Aune a knee as their quarterback. He was really good. They're both over teams. We got Houston 2.5, 65. I love the over because they're both over teams. I know Houston's coach is a strong offense. Obviously, UTSA's with Harris. And again, as I said, Oakland has the best running back in the league that you don't know because they sat him out last year. Sincere McCormick was UTSA's leading runner. This guy's unbelievable. You can't tackle him. So Oakland all of a sudden got a whole lot better with McCormick, provided the idiot coach plays him and doesn't sit him out for being injured. But they have a great running back sitting on the sidelines, Oakland, which is why Oakland's. So there's still no defense in the game. This should be an under team with an E defense. That means they score about 22 and they give up. They score 22 and they give up like 26. Coming by Baylor, who's a B team, high 40-point team and a fairly good defense. Baylor's like 26, over under 56. Texas State's got a new coach in Kinney who sucks. Look for Baylor to kill him. Playing the over because Texas State doesn't have an offense. Baylor at home against Texas State should be no problem. A&M's 39 and 56, I believe. Might be 50. Anyway, I hate when I do that. I write my 0, but it kind of looks like a 6, but I think it's 50. I got enough of the upper stick. Anyway, New Mexico, no offense, great defense. A&M, no offense, great defense. They put up the whole 20 on Alabama. They did hold them to 24. So that leaves New Mexico not scoring anything. A&M won't score. They 39. They don't have the USC or Oklahoma 39. This is not a team you lay 39 with. They can't beat a high school by 39. So you play this game under. Is it your 56? Getting there. 48.5 down. So it was 50. You can. So I was an under all the way. I doubt New Mexico scores, but they have a good enough defense. I don't see how A&M puts up 40 on this defense. It's a very strong defense. This is a very easy under game, 48, under 56 all day. No points. 20-0 to 3, if they even get that far. Washington State, Colorado State. Washington State's a B team. Good offense, great defense. Colorado State scores. They're lucky to get past midfield, but Washington State offense should go up and down the field. This spread's way too low. Should be in the 20s. It's 16. I love it. I'm only laying 10 with Washington State. That's a steal there. That spread 16 down to 10 is nothing. Forget the over-under. I 3-0. I don't see Colorado State scoring. This defense is extremely good. They held USC when they were scoring 40 a game to like 29-16, I think. So Colorado State won't score in this game. Texas Tech, Wyoming. Texas Tech's an over team. Wyoming's an under team. Texas Tech laying 14-56. I don't see how you play 56 Wyoming. Again, you can't play a team with no offense and a good defense over. You can only play them under. You got Texas Tech, who's explosive, as we know, with no defense. Wyoming can't take advantage because let's go to our have their strength is defense. You have a weak offense. How are you going to score a lot on Texas Tech? You're not. So therefore, it becomes a 30-point game maybe. Texas Tech gets 27, 30 on them. Wyoming maybe puts up 10 or 14. It's at Wyoming. I think Texas Tech laying 8. I think they win comfortably. They're too hard to defend. So Wyoming's good defense. Not going to be that good here. But they have no offense to keep up with it. So I like Texas Tech -8. Middle Tennessee State, fucking Bama. Middle Tennessee State is an over team. They score mid-30s, give up mid-30s, and here's Alabama is an A team, as we know. Score 40, give up 18-19. They'll kill Middle Tennessee because that's what they do. They have this weak opponent week 1, and then they go, look how good Alabama is. They just beat a high school team 62-0. They must be the best team in the country. And that's what they like to do. They start off that first week, they kill, and then they use that the whole year. Like, look what you did to high school team. Just don't let them play Georgia because they are not in Georgia's league anymore. Lane 38, over under a 56. Again, the problem is Middle Tennessee will have a hard time scoring because Alabama will blitz all day. And unless Middle Tennessee can figure out how to throw screen passes and dump the ball quickly, because you ain't running on Alabama, it's Alabama. You can beat them passing the ball, as Tennessee did. That's their weakness. And so, therefore, Alabama against this defense is going to put up a 50. Even with the new quarterback and play. It's anybody who's a good quarterback, he'll throw 5 touchdown passes, in the game. So, 10 points in the game. If they don't, you take them in late 32 because Alabama's putting up a 50. If they can score 20, then you go over 56-50. You go over. Again, it's hard to go over with Alabama's defense. However, if they're up 50-0, they bring in the third string in the fourth quarter. Maybe Middle Tennessee gets the score, but generally they want the shutout. They put up a 50. So it could be. It's what do you like? Do you want to lay 32, or are you not comfortable in the fourth quarter that they pull out their fourth string and let Middle Tennessee score, and you want to go over 50? So if you think they're really going to pound them, and you think Middle Tennessee can score a little, and you can go over 50. Otherwise, you think Alabama, West Virginia, Penn State, West Virginia over team. They score, no defense. Penn State's an A team, strong offense, strong defense. However, I know the quarterback's gone and some good defensive players got drafted. However, they got recruits and good quarterback in the wing. Laying 18.5. They should have no problem scoring, but I think West Virginia can score on them. I think that number is a bit high, 19.5. Over under 54. Penn State tends to score a lot. Again, they got a quarterback, so we don't know. West Virginia is an over team, so they can score. And, West Virginia plays Texas, Oklahoma, Baylor, TCU, Kansas State. So they play good opponents. They won't be in awe. They won't have a defense. I think it could be an over. It's all up to the quarterback, the Penn State new quarterback, because West Virginia won't have a defense, but I think they can score on Penn State. I don't think that'll be an issue. So again, they're an A from last year, new quarterback. So what happens? Are they going to be able to score? And if it's not the quarterback, then you take West Virginia, I think, in 25.5. As I said, they play Oklahoma, Texas, Baylor, TCU, so it's not a big deal to play Penn State. So the 25.5 is a big number, I think. This is kind of a rivalry game. So I play Illinois, Toledo, an over team. They score a lot, no defense. Illinois is a very strong team. They don't score that much. They like to run the ball and play defense. I love the game under. Illinois is 10 and a 53. I love the under 59. This is like an Iowa game. You ain't scoring. You're not scoring on Illinois, Toledo. They're not going to put it up. So they're an over in the MAC, but you play a team like Illinois with their defense. The running back went to the pros. He was a good running back. I'm not sure about the quarterback. Bielema's playing Wisconsin ball. He's going to play this tough defense and run the ball. Definitely an under team. So I'll go under. 53 is a high number with Illinois, with Iowa, with Iowa State. You can't get into 50. You can't go. You just go under with these teams in the 50s. Interesting game. South Carolina, North Carolina. North Carolina, 1.5. Quarterback's back. He choked a lot against Clemson, I remember. Over under 62. South Carolina is a very good team. Both teams are over. They can score, and neither can play defense. I love the dog in this game. South Carolina gets 7.5. It's just, I don't think North Carolina can beat them. I think this game's dead even. Take the dog. North Carolina's favorite. I guess it's at home. 62 should go way over that because North Carolina is pretty explosive and no defense. And South Carolina is the same. They'll score on them. This game should go up and down, be in the 30s, 70-point game. We're 56. So I really like the dog, but I really like the over. I like the over in the game. South Alabama, Tulane, 2 A teams playing. What do we do with 2 A teams? We tease the dog. This has got dog written all over it. Tulane, very good team last year. So is South Alabama. Different conferences, but this is a style. They have unders. They have good defenses last year. They will have good defenses this year. Tulane, I don't know if they lost their quarterback. Let's see if South Alabama lost. I got to do the quarterbacks, but just superficially looking, Tulane -7 and 60. I'm not fucking with A teams over. You play A teams under, as I've seen too many times where the defenses start taking over the game. And again, we got to see the quarterback. Otherwise, I like the dog. I like South Alabama in 13. They're the ones who went to UCLA and lost 31-30. So they're an under in conference, but against UCLA. But they had balls to put up a 30 on UCLA. So no problem going to Tulane. That's what I like of these teams that go to UCLA, where Kent State went to Washington and Georgia. They're out of their fucking minds. But now this year they've won, and they'll be so much better for that. They're the good sleepers we look for. Old D v Tech. I think Old D's in Virginia. They're a W team. No offense, a weak defense. Virginia Tech's an under team. Virginia Tech's lane 12.5 here. There's not going to be a lot of offense. Over under 51. I like the game under. Old D's not going to score. They'll struggle, but Virginia Tech is an under team, so they're not going to be able to take advantage of the weak defense by Old D. Old D should be able to play them enough. So this would be like 21-14, like that. Over a 51, we go under 57. They'll never get the 57. Has no offense, going to cover 12.5, And Old D is a W team with a weak defense. I can't bet them on principle. Coastal Carolina and UCLA. Both teams are over under on this game. UCLA over under a 7. Coastal Carolina's got a new coach and back because their other coach went to Liberty. Surprise move, he went to Liberty and not Northwestern or Purdue or somewhere. Who goes from Coastal Carolina to Liberty? Very strange. Liberty, I believe, is in Tennessee. He's from Tennessee. I don't know. So back, the key here is who the fuck's their quarterback? Do they still have McCall, or did McCall go? I didn't see him get drafted, and I can't believe he wouldn't have gotten drafted. So he might be playing, or he was supposedly in the transfer portal, but I've never seen where he went. So we got to see who's the quarterback for Coastal Carolina. UCLA, we know will be the kid from Kent State, maybe, if he beat out whoever they recruited. I mean, I'm sure is a very good quarterback, the second stringer. So we will see. UCLA with McCall, was it a system? We don't know yet. But I think the new, well, you got a new coach. So now is he going to fuck around? So it kind of hurts because this would be a lock over if it was Thompson Robinson and McCall last year. This is the great over, but since we don't know what Coastal Carolina's coach is going to do, and we don't know who the quarterback is, makes it extremely difficult. Let's see what Coastal Carolina is this year. Northwestern and Rutgers. Rutgers is actually favored 4.5 and 47. 2 under teams. Northwestern and Rutgers can't score. Pretty good defenses. There's going to be points. First team to 10 wins, I think. I think Northwestern's a good play as a dog in this because Rutgers doesn't score. Rutgers maybe gets to 14. Northwestern maybe gets to 14. I think you can take 10.5, but I like the under better. 47. They won't get close to 53. So definitely like this game under. Oregon State with Uglia Buglia laying 16-56 to San Jose State, who again is the B team. Both teams have great defenses. So now Uglia Buglia ain't going to get any better. The key is how does San Jose State play USC? If they play them pretty competitive and their defense looks pretty good, this is a lock under. If USC goes up and down the field, and San Jose State doesn't score. So we got to see what happens. To me, if San Jose State loses to USC 42-24, then I can take San Jose State in the points. Oregon State doesn't score, or I can like the game under because Oregon State had a killer defense last year. San Jose State had a strong defense. We'll see who San Jose's quarterback is. We know Uglia Buglia sucks. He was the number 1 recruit, which is what makes you like – it's like the Fed lying to us and the government lying to us. And here, Uglia Buglia is the number 1 quarterback, and then he goes to Clemson, and he sucks. And you're just like – so you can't even trust that. And Clemson Trevor Lawrence sucked too. He had that one good game, but both Ohio State games, he didn't complete 50% of his pass. The reason he did anything was because he ran. So he's not. That's why I don't like him. He doesn't. He didn't show up in the big games in college. He ain't going to show up in the big games in the pros. I love how they got him receivers. Aren't the other guys pro receivers? So what are you saying, that some pro receivers are better than other pro receivers? And if we don't get a superstar receivers, they're not any good. Go talk to Tom Brady. He didn't have a star receiver except for Randy Moss one year. He did okay. So I hate that excuse. Well, we had to get Tagliavoa, Tyreek Hill, and the other Waddle. I mean, we had to get him all these receivers so he could be good, because otherwise he sucks. What happens if the receivers get hurt? What are you going to do, bench him? Just incredibly stupid. So we got to see what San Jose State does to USC. Otherwise, it's per 56. Two strong defensive teams. I know Oregon State had a strong defense last year, so probably an under. Bobby's game, LSU 2.5, 57 against Florida State. Both are A teams. Strong offense, strong defense. I like the dog in the game. Florida State an 8.5. It's one of these bowl games, so it's a neutral site. Last year was a 1-point game that LSU kind of gave them. And over under a 57, which I don't know what to do with. Probably with both these teams, and it's the first game, I like the game under because you got good defenses. LSU, we hate the quarterback. Florida State's got to, but these defenses, look for Brian Kelly to really have the defense going. Florida State will have the defense going. They'll just spy Daniels, the LSU quarterback. He can't throw the ball, so I look for now. We got tape on him. We know what to do. So I don't know. 57. We go under 63. It's a 30-30 game. I don't think that happens here. I think it could be like 28-24. It could be in the low 50s. It'll be close. But I can't take LSU plus 3.5. This is a Florida State an 8.5 game. This is a dog game. Give me the underdog. What's the points? Oh, LSU's favorite. Give me Florida State. Florida State's favorite. Give me LSU. I want the points. I want over 7 points in this game. And last but not least, Clemson 12-56 against Duke. Without Oogly or Boogly. And now their backup looked pretty good last year. And then I don't know what happened in the bowl game he played. So there's one backup who was good, and there's another backup who sucks. I think they're on their way down, Clemson. Duke has a great quarterback. You want an option quarterback like Thompson Robinson. Duke's got the guy. Arkansas has got Jefferson. I would take Jefferson over Lamar Jackson any day of the week. He's so much better. He can run, but he can actually pass the ball, unlike Lamar. I don't know what they're looking for, but you want that style. You get Jefferson. You get Thompson Robinson. What else? That's about it. There was a couple others that we mentioned, but I'd rather have a Hainer or Stenson Bennett over Stout or Richardson. Jesus Christ, what are they fucking on? So A's. So over under 56. I love Clemson in 18. Duke in 18 here. This quarterback, they are explosive. They have a good team. They played well against North Carolina, Miami, those type of teams. They were down. They came back. It's a good quarterback and a good team. Clemson, like I said, they're on their way down. I don't know that they get the same talent. They lost their defensive coordinator to Oklahoma. Their defense, let's see how strong they were an under team last year, but mostly because Oogly and Boogly couldn't throw. They ran the ball a lot. So what they do, but I do like Duke's quarterback. I'd be able to take Duke here. I'd rather play him against North Carolina or Miami. Well, half the other teams. You don't really fuck with an Alabama or how good is Clemson? Georgia, you never want to fuck with. So we got to see. But I think that Duke in 18 is a big number. I don't see because this guy can scramble and he can pass. He's a very good quarterback. So even if they blitz him, he just runs away or he calls screen passes. I mean, Duke, very well coached and a very strong defense. So I like the 18 here. What's new? Joking. Who's Levis? Are you talking Kentucky quarterback? No, I'm drinking tea right now. So that is college. Now, I've got to look at the quarterbacks because that's the key. Where's McCall? He didn't get drafted, so I'm at least concerned, although I don't know where. What's with Tulane and South Alabama? So on these overs, I know LSU and Florida State's. I know Clemson's and Duke's. Well, I think I know Clemson. Well, I don't know which quarterback for Clemson. Who's Penn State's new one? Alabama doesn't matter. It's plug and play. Ohio State, it doesn't matter. Washington, no. Auburn, Hartman. No. A lot of them, we know Rising's playing. We don't know the Florida quarterback. I'm not worried. Rising's better than anybody else anyway. Should be the top draft pick. Of course, you won't, but he should be. Caleb Williams, even though it's a system at USC like it is at Alabama and Ohio State. Look at Kyler Murray. Oh, he's great. Look at Baker Mayfield. Oh, he's great. Look at the numbers they put up at Oklahoma, and then they get in the pros, and they can't do shit. That's my problem is Oklahoma or USC runs an offense that says all the fast receivers go deep, and then the fast quarterback's going to run around these guys. What kind of offense is that? So it works until you got a good defense, and they spy, and the spy's faster than your quarterback, and then you're fucked. It's sort of like the Tigers. The Tigers, Detroit baseball, go up looking for a walk. Well, but they don't call it looking for a walk. They call it he's very patient and selective at the plate. And then it's to wear the pitcher out, but then they get into like the ninth inning and they get the bases loaded and they need a hit, but none of their guys can hit, so they can hit and they can't win the game because the guy throws strikes and you can't walk, so now they got to hit and they can't. I just love that logic. Oh, did you ever get your Phil Steele? I'm not going to get Phil Steele. I'm going to get another one. No, probably tomorrow. I think it's a good day to get it. I keep meaning to go, but then I get busy. Or I'm cooking dinner, or I'm getting Chinese, and I'm going, this or that, or my foot's bothering me, or my back's bothering me. Anyway, I'm very healthy, so I think tomorrow I'll go get it on the way to the pool. I think it's a good because I gotta drive pretty much by it. I could have got it today when I went to the gold store. Now the recap. They had a lot of these near bullion, right? And they say, it says bullion on it. It says 1 troy ounce, 999. That's all I care about. Doesn't really give a year or manufacturer. And then I like the on the back, but I'm confused because here's the Buffalo silver bullion pound, round. And this is 1 troy ounce, 999. So as long as it's 1 troy ounce, 999, I'm buying the silver. So anyway, he only had 5 or 6 of these, but some of them had like this. You see how silver this is? It was kind of brown. So I didn't like it. I said, no, I'll take these. And then you see the edges are nice and silver. So this is a nice silver one. I care about the condition to a point. Gold's different because gold you can't damage. But I like getting these containers. When I buy my gold, they're always in the container. Silver, I got one white container that's not full. I have 8. So I'll add these 7, gives it 15, and maybe I'll go buy 5 more tomorrow. And then this I get to put in my gold pile. I'm so excited. I always get excited buying gold. Bobby, you haven't lived till you bought your gold. Anyway, so he had 5 of the Chinese panda. I didn't realize there's that much Chinese in Michigan. And then he had a bunch of like little gold bars, the little 1/4 ounce, I think, like Credit Swish, and they're just, just the rectangular gold bars. So I didn't go. I like the coins over. It doesn't really. But I really had no intention of buying the gold because I bought it last weekend and I get paid next weekend. I just got to pay rent, so I'll probably maybe buy 1 more ounce either next week or wait for the next paycheck and get 1 more Social Security, and I can buy 2 more ounces. So I haven't decided yet, but they keep waiting for us with the price. Wait for that council. It's in August. It's in Africa. And they should announce we're coming out with an currency backed by gold. And that'll be the end of this $2,000 gold and $20 silver. Because once they announce it, Katie, bar the door, whoa, Nelly. You're looking at, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 gold. You'll wake up and you won't see 2,000 anymore. You're going to see 7 or 8 or 10. And silver, you'll have at least 1 zero after it. So it goes from 24 to 240. And it's just like that. So, but we're looking at August. It could go sooner. There'll be more bank failures because of the interest rates. There'll be more housing market news. There's more stock market's going to crash. But most people don't know what to do. So they go, I got to get out of the bank. I'll buy stocks because nobody knows gold. People are so fucking stupid. So I'm in the guy at Toyota and I'm explaining the dollar to him. Oh, he knows. I was with the sales manager. I was with both. And I basically said, your risk is staying in this to the sales manager. You got Bitcoins. All right, you got 100 grand in Bitcoin. You do not want it kind of hits the iceberg, but it doesn't sink right away. It took 6-7 hours. But if you put your money in this, you're in trouble. So then everybody got it. Let's see. We got a thing on the alligator on Say's Law. So I'll touch on it real briefly because that's the heading of the thing, but I'll get more in depth. But I'll just do a real quick thing. How much Bobby likes. So this is alligator and his thing, and I read it. I don't think I finished reading it. It's very interesting. Updating Say's Law for modern time. And I've explained Say's Law to you. Say's Law is, I want almonds, they make almonds. Then we determine the price. So the market says, I'm going to sell $7, I'll buy it. A couple of weeks ago, I tried like $12. I said, fuck it, I'm not paying that. This week was, I think, $8.99, so I bought it. This keeps me away from chips and salt and fat. Normally, I try to get unsalted, but I didn't see any. I bet Oogly Boogie watches Peter Schiff. Yeah, I bet he doesn't have gold. He can't afford it. They're not paying him enough at Oregon State. Clemson didn't pay, but the negotiate a price. This is, you go to the store, this is $50, and I determine if I want to pay $50 or not. That's Say's Law. I make the choice. I determine what I want. I determine the price. If it's too expensive, if this is $100, I won't buy it. If it's $30, I will buy it. I think I paid $15 for this because this is from 1997. I was working there. So, that's what Say's Law is. I go to work, and then the consumer, I'm the consumer, so I buy, and then what price? So as I said, I want almonds to get away from Fritos, and then I look, and there's $7.99. I buy them for $10.99. They're too expensive. They're healthy, or I want cashews because they taste good, or pistachios. But it's, do I want nuts? And then through the competition, I choose what brand and what kind of nut. And they sell the nuts because I say I want to buy it. That's Say's Law, right? We determine what and what price that we want. But nobody can possibly figure that out. And that's what communism and Keynesian is. Keynesian says, we're not going to listen to Say's Law. What he's saying here, I'll get more into it tomorrow because it's been 2.5 hours. But what the Keynesians are saying is, well, there's no such thing as Say's Law. We won't let Howard and Bobby and Nick choose what they want. We're going to make electric cars. That's what the communist Keynesians are doing. We'll make electric cars. And talking to the sales manager at Toyota, what does he say? Nobody wants them. We can't sell them. Nobody wants electric cars. That's not Say's law. Say's law is we want an electric, make it for us. You're making electric cars that nobody wants. There's no demand. What the fuck are you doing? You're wasting your time and your money making electric cars. And the government has to put this incentive in. Oh, well, we'll give you $8,000 rebate or tax credit if you buy one. Well, you don't do that with my Camry. I don't get an $8,000 rebate for buying a Camry. Well, that's gas. No, if you buy an electric, so they're trying to kiss everybody's ass saying, oh, no, if you buy it, we'll take all this money out. So there's no demand for an electric car. That's communism. That's Keynesian. Keynes does not believe in Say's law. He doesn't believe we should choose our own. He believes that the government should run the market. That's what Russia is. That's what China is. They tell you what you can buy. Oh, you're going to buy a black car because that's all we're going to make. Well, I don't want black. I want blue. Well, that's too bad. You can't buy it here. That's what a government-run market does, which is why it never works, because you can't tell what me and Bobby and Nick want. We want General Chow. We want egg rolls. We want, fried chicken. We want ribs. You don't know what we want. We don't know what we want. I'm in the mood. I'll get General Chow tomorrow. I haven't gotten ribs in a while because of my feet. Okay, maybe I'll get barbecue chicken Monday. Whatever, I'm going to choose it. Where do I want to go July 4th? Maybe I'll go to Vegas. Maybe I'll go to Amsterdam. Maybe I'll stay here. So I don't know what I'm going to do. How can you fucking predict it? And then all these charts, that's why I bring up the Brady stuff. So in 2008, Brady was on New England. So therefore, New England's going to play the way it was with Brady. But the variable is missing. Brady's not there anymore. You can't use the 2008 chart. Well, what do you hear? Well, in 2008, gold did this. So therefore, it's going to do it now. What are you telling me? All the trends are the same? You can't tell me you didn't have the inflation you have. Plus, it's COMEX gold that you're looking at, not physical. This is what really burns me up is when these guys try to argue COMEX in 2008 and 2014, this is what's going to happen to gold in 2023. It's price fixed, you fucking idiots. I don't understand why it's so complicated market and into the physical market, which is what BRICS is going to do us. Then we'll get to the real price. This, whatever the price has been, it's been phony price since 1973 or 74, when COMEX said we're going to keep the price down. Mostly it was to defend, had to give you the gun, that all these countries, the only reason they wanted the US dollar was because it was backed by gold. Now you're taking the gold backing off. Now you're going to have inflation, which is, how many times have we done that? And they're afraid everybody is going to take their gold. So they set the gold at 35 an ounce, and then they set up COMEX to keep the price down so these people wouldn't want it. Because if the gold ran to the price they were really supposed to be, gold would be $40,000 an ounce right now. Believe me, everybody would have came running to the U.S. saying, give me my gold, give me the 40, it's 40,000, I want it. But at 35 ounce, you can keep it. That was the point, to keep the price down so you didn't have it, because we didn't have enough gold to give to everybody, because we were printing money to pay for Vietnam and pay for Social Security and pay for Medicare and all these government programs, because they don't work. So what he's saying is they got off of Say's law into Keynesian, which is all like, we're going to tax you. He talked about GDP, which is bullshit. He says that it's not supposed to be how much growth there is in the economy. It's how well the growth is. So if they came out with computers and they started at $1,000 and now they're $200, but we're much better off with computers or VCRs or cell phones that started high and came down in price, but we got the benefit. We got a cell phone, it's a camera, it's a video, you can get on WhatsApp, that taught them much better. So therefore, you're supposed to measure not GDP, but basic satisfaction of the consumer, for better terms. For us, are we better off? Not because you printed a ton of money, but because we benefited from the products that we made. And that's really what he argues, is that, and that's government. They believe it's GDP, so they want to keep growing the economy. So when the economy falters, they print money, which is inflation, but they're too stupid to understand it. So everybody thinks this is a plan, that they're inflating on purpose. They're not inflating on purpose. These are fucking morons that don't understand what they're doing. So in their minds, they want GDP to grow because they want power and control. And therefore, if they print the money, that they'll have more power and more control. And they want bigger government. And then we pay taxes to the government. That's their idea. And the more money and the more power they have, more. So they want power and control. That's why they're in government, not for the well-being of us. They don't give a fuck about us. So this is the problem. So they go, oh, we'll print more money, and then we'll have more power and we'll have more control. And we don't care about the market. We'll have the Keynesian market. We'll control the market because we're smart enough. We don't even know how to do interest rates, this stupid idiot Powell, but we'll control the market. You can't fucking look at it. You're trying to do electric cars and Toyota can't sell any. Yeah, real good call there. That's why I don't understand Tesla stock. And he's mostly in China. He doesn't sell anything in the U.S., Europe. He sells in China. And China's coming out with a real cheap electric car that'll kill Ford. It'll kill GM. It'll kill Tesla. That's the problem, because it's government run in China, so they can put their gold resources into it, make it real cheap and give discounts, and they can sell it really cheap. And that's what China's trying to do here. But nobody gives a fuck. Nobody wants an electric car. And there's not enough electricity even if they made them and they sold 15 million. They sell about 17 million new cars normally. That's like the capacity in the U.S. 17 million every year, roughly. Maybe 16, maybe 18. They sell 600,000 electric cars worldwide. And if they ever sold 17 million electric cars, there's not enough electricity in the world to charge everybody's car. What the fuck? And there's not enough. They need oil to do it. There's not enough silver to make the batteries and charge the cars. So what they're doing is ridiculous. But anyway, that's what he's saying. So the Keynesian / communist who are running our government, fucking idiots. You can't leave good enough alone. No, let's go with Keynesian, who's been proven wrong. The best example he shows is after World War II, there was East Berlin and West Berlin. West Berlin was capitalism. East Berlin was communism. Remember, the Russians had that. The U.S. and the U.K. had West Berlin or West Germany, and the West side flourished because it was capitalism. And the East side was in the toilet because it was communism. There was no free markets or no private property. So the Russian side went to the shits, and the American side went way up. That's why they had to break the wall down, because they were all starving in East Germany. That's the proof that Keynesian / communism doesn't work, and yet capitalism, West Germany was fine. They were West Berlin, whatever you want to call it, was they were thriving. Sir, oh yeah, when is the housing market news? I'll show you the housing market news in a second. The announcement is middle of August in Africa. All the BRICS countries are coming to say, we are coming out with this new currency backed by gold. So that'll be, I think it's August 20th or something. But once the news is out, and it doesn't even matter, according to Alligator today, once people realize that this is garbage, and they will realize it. They don't realize it yet. We realize it. They don't. Once they understand that this is worthless, once nobody wants,
But you can't buy euros, and you can't buy Swiss francs, and you can't buy British pounds, and you can't buy yen. You can't buy rubles. The only thing, your only escape route is our babies. This is the only thing you can jump to. And this is the only competition. This is not a competition. Sell this for this. Fucking nobody. Nobody is selling an ounce of gold or silver. This is what you got to understand. So when the price and the COMEX price in silver drops, nobody's selling it. It's the fucking paper. And how we can't get rid of this paper is because that's how powerful JP Morgan is, who runs the government. Don't kid yourself. The government does not run JP Morgan. The banks run the government. This is why I say to you, there won't be a digital currency, because why would the banks want a digital currency? Then they'll be out of business. Why would they want to be out of business? And by the way, in the 1930s, when they had the great, we need banks to put the money. We need money to go buy a Mercedes, and this is an ounce, and now it's worth 50,000. And I will give you the only real money in the world is Mercedes, and they'll take it because it's ounce of gold, and you're going to give me the car. And he says, "Well, I need the cash first. Want me to give you the dollar to go get dollars for it, or are you going to want the ounce of gold?" And he kind of said, "Yeah, I think." Now, the odd part about Toyota, he's saying as soon as we get cars in, they're sold, even though it's an 8.5% on the car. If you have really good credit, I think it's 7.5%, and they're paying $850 a month in the on the payments. So you go buy a nice $35,000 Camry or RAV or Tacoma. Your payments are $850 a fucking month if you have good credit. If you don't have good credit, you're paying $1,000 a month. Who the fuck can afford $1,000 a month payment on a Camry? I was paying for something, but I kept paying $800 a month to get it paid off. So I'm glad I got it paid off. But the only thing I can tell you, do not ever buy a variable rate loan on a house or a car or anything, because it'll always go up. So you're in a house and you get a variable rate for 2%. I guarantee you within 2 years, you're paying 5%, and you can't afford it. So you bought the 2% to get the payments down, but then it's a 15 or 30-year mortgage, and your rate's going to go up, guaranteed, because that's what the banks do. They sucker you in at 2%. You can afford it, but you don't realize, it's variable. So you think, oh, it won't go up. It's guaranteed it's going up 1 or 2% every year. And all I can say is lock it in with a fixed rate, get 3 or 4%. We did that on our house. For all you people who think I'm stupid, yes, I did have a $400,000 house, and we locked it in at 3%. So thank you very much. And I had $1,000 a month mortgage on a $400,000 house. Thank you very much. We put $100,000 down. But that's, so I'm not as stupid as I'm waiting for the housing market to crash. And I will show you a few things. But anyway, I'll get more into Say's law. But it's basically, that's why the U.S. is great. That's what's so good about Austrian economics and Adam Smith, is the simple, we let the people decide, and then they decide the price. So it's all in our hands. We don't. We wait. Market works, not this bullshit where the government dictates. So we're only going to have New York strips and nothing else. You can't get pig ears because that didn't make demand list. So you can't do it. That's the problem with it. It's limited and it's price fixed, and nobody's gonna, if you're telling me I can only get $10 a bottle on this, you price fix me, I don't sell it, I go out of business. That's the problem with price fixing. You always have to let the market determine, and they'll pay for that if they want it. And if they don't want it, they go out of business. All right, I got some pictures to show. So the first one I have is, I'll quickly show you and I'll read you. So what this says is the cost of building a new house is rising at an unprecedented rate. So that means housing prices will go up, but if the market does take it, the builders will stop building, because if my costs go up, but I can't, again, what's our law? You can only I'm going to make this and my costs are $30. Can I sell it for 50? What does the market tell me? That's what we are. We say, yes, you can sell it for 50. Okay, I'll make it. But if you need $60 for the bottle and the market says, I'm only going to go to 40, you're out of business. So we translate it to building the house. And now his costs are $300,000 to build the house. And he wants to mark it up and make profits. And now he wants to charge it for 400. And we go, I ain't giving you 400. I got 250 to give you. He has to go out of business because he can't make money, costing 300 grand, but he can't get he can't get 400 for it. So when I see this is again where the market dictates and says, I don't care what it costs you. You can't force me to buy a house for 500 grand that I can't afford, or I don't, so he sits on his inventory, he goes out of business. Then the price of the house goes down because he's still sitting on assets. So he's going to sell it. And that's when me and Bobby walk in with our gold and saying, I'll give you this for your house. And he'll take it because it's just nobody can afford it. But gold, he'll take. That's the beauty of gold. It rises in value with this whole thing. And they know it's money. See, they know it's money. If we give them a Mantle card or we give them a Rolex, maybe, can I sell it? Well, with gold, if gold's 50,000 an ounce and this is an ounce and I offer 2 of them for his house, he'll probably take it because he knows the value and he knows it's heavily demanded. He'll be able to get it. That's the difference. So in mind, that's the beauty of gold. Everybody knows the value of it. So everybody will know, well, let me check. Oh yeah, it's 50,000 and now it's 100 grand. Yeah, I'll trade it for the house. That's where the barter comes in, but not to go to the grocery store. Your money. And this is not digital. When I take my debit card and I go to the grocery store and buy my nuts, that is not digital currency. That's electric currency. All I'm doing is taking the money and I'm putting it in the bank, and then electronically I'm using my debit card to pay it. It is not digital. It's right here and it's in the bank. And as long as I got $100 in the bank, I can spend $100 at the grocery store. That's electric money. It's unelectric. It's a convenient way of not having to have this in my pocket and pulling out the card. But don't get confused that it's digital currency. It is not. The only digital currency is Bitcoin. And good luck finding a grocery store that takes Bitcoin, or a restaurant or a doctor's or a car or anybody. Nobody takes it because it doesn't have value, because it's not money. Nobody in their right mind, because they don't know what it's worth. So here's a $30,000 car, I'll give you a Bitcoin. Then a week later, nobody takes it, so it's not money. All right, let's see. This one's about ETFs, which is what I've already told you. Basically, don't fuck with ETFs. I have this. This is in my hand. This is going in my safe. You can't take this from me. An ETF is not physical. It is paper. This is an ETF, right? It's paper. It's worthless. This has no value. This does. You can print this to zero. You can't touch this because this is in my hand. You can't take it away, and you can't kill the value, because the value is based on worldwide demand, and everybody loves this because this is real money. That's the difference. So but I gotta have it. If I have it in paper, if I have paper, an ETF is paper, I don't have gold. And guess what? Another 1,000 guys also have the same gold in the ETF. The ETF is not about physical gold. And as everybody's going to find out, this wins the lottery, not the physical. So don't forget that. That's most important. Here's a funny one. People go to this restaurant, and what it says is people just started leaving their food Consumers leave full plates of food behind at a restaurant because service is awful. How long is that business going to be? Are they going to buy stock in whatever this is? This is Walk On Sports Bistro. I don't know where it is, but can you imagine people just leaving their plates? Because if I got the food, I'm going to eat it. I don't care how bad the service is. I'm just not going to wait. After a half hour, I don't see a waiter or waitress. I don't have a salad or a pop. I get up and I'm gone. And goodbye. I've done that before. I'll just get up and leave. And the waitress will come running at me and go, you had a half hour to give me a fucking hamburger. Sorry, that's my limit. Let's see. So here's a homeowners in the UK. So I will read this to you. This is ruining people's lives. Homeowners hit by UK mortgage crisis speak out. In the UK, the interest rates are going through the roof for mortgages. That's the sign of inflation. And that's what I told the Toyota guy. When you're charging 8.5% for a new car, that's inflation, because you have to get 8.5. Because if Bobby loans me $20,000, Bobby's taking a risk, and Bobby wants to get back 20, let's say 25,000, right? I'll loan you 20, so I'm taking a risk. So for my risk, I want to get 25 total. Problem is, it's inflated dollars. So your 20,000 is going to be worth this in 5 years. Let's say 5 years. So Bobby's sitting there going, fuck, I'm going to lose. I want to get back 25 if I'm going to loan 20. Otherwise, it's not worth loaning. So if I do loan it, so that means my interest rate has to be enough to cover the inflation. And that's where you're getting the 8% and that's way too low. If I was doing the loan, it would be 20%. The problem is nobody will borrow from you because they can't afford it. That's where the inflation really gets tricky. But nobody will loan you money. That's why the cars are, who's going to afford it? Because as the inflation gets worse, and don't kid yourself, it ain't at 4%, it's at least 15 to 20, because they're not including volatile food and energy prices. Well, then what the fuck are you talking about? You're 4% on what? And then you're not including everything. So how much is the food and energy? Oh, that's 10%. Okay, so we're really at 14%. Don't give me the 4% crap. That's bullshit. Or as Alligator would say, that's rubbish. I love when he calls it rubbish. That's the point. So if Bobby wants to loan me money, he's got to calculate, I need $25,000 after 5 years. My 20 is going to be worth 15. So that means I got to get 10,000 in interest. What's my interest rate got to be for me to get $10,000 in interest? And he comes out with 10%, 15%. That's where the real inflation number is. And that's why Toyota is charging 8.5%. So it's at least 8.5%, because the guy doing the calculation, who's wrong, is saying, well, I need 8.5% to make money on the loan. And I guarantee you, he's using 4 or 5% inflation, which is, he's fucked up. It should be much higher. So he should be about 20. So if I was loaning to somebody buying a Toyota, it would be at least 15%. So I could loan to 20 and get 25, because they're short at 8.5, and they loan, let's say 30,000, and they're charging $875 a month. They're losing money on it. They'll never get the 30,000 back. Once the dollars inflate, and he might not get anything back, because when the dollar goes to zero, they're fucked. Now what do they get? Sorry, I can't pay you. I don't have the currency, which is why I'm saying your car and your credit cards and your mortgage are going to go to zero, because the money's going to be worthless. So how do I pay my, if I had a mortgage, how would I pay my mortgage? How am I going to pay it? I don't have any currency. They're not going to take gold, and you have to adjust the value to the gold. So now I'm going to pay gold and silver. I'm going to pay silver. I'm going to pay you silver for the rent. How much do you need? You can't measure, so let's say I'm paying $1,000 a month with this. Well, how does that turn into this? Right? If this is 1,000 an ounce, you can't sit there. You're going to charge me an ounce of silver for rent? Well, you can't even do that because the 1,000 is not even worth 1,000 anymore. So it's now worth zero. How do you charge me? How do you come up with the new prices? That's the real game that I am dying to see how they do it. And if you think digital currency is the answer, you're out of your fucking mind. How are you going to do it with digital currency? What's that worth? It's backed by what? Gold or paper? And if it ain't backed by gold, it's worthless. It's the same as this crap. Any currency that has this, that is not backed by gold, will go to zero 100% of the time. It has to be backed by gold or silver. And not oil. Oh yeah, I got oil. Yeah, what are you going to bring? Pennzoil into the grocery store, or better yet, a barrel? You're going to bring a barrel of oil in? I mean, give me a break. What kind of idiot? Oil is not an inflation hedge, and is not money. This is money. That's why I am leading you to gold and silver, because you're buying real money, and the value can only go up. You have no risk, and you're going to make 1,000% return. You tell me where you're going to get no risk and 1,000% return guaranteed. It can't be done anywhere else. You got risk in the stock market. You got risk in the banks, in a CD, or in a real estate trust that the people are going to be able to pay their mortgage. A Mantle card, a Bobby Bow card, of course, a Rolex. Okay, maybe in a Rolex you're not going to lose, but it's still, the difference is a Rolex is going to be priced in dollars, but if a gold Rolex, it will be priced in gold, so it'll keep a value, right? So if it's a $40,000 Rolex, but it's not money, this is money. People will easily accept this, but not a Rolex. Okay, what do I give it to you? What's it worth? This, we know what it'll be worth. So that's really the difference. And then the plan is to take 10 of these, will buy me one of these, buy me an ounce. 10 buys me an ounce. You know how much 10 costs me now? 26 times 10 is $260. For $260, I get a $30,000 ounce of gold with no risk. So you tell me where you can beat that. I'd love to hear it. This is like I'm setting the table for no-brainer. You can't lose. I mean, it's a no-brainer, because COMEX will have to go away, because the whole world wants a new price. They must get rid of their debt. They have all this gold. They want the price of gold to go up. As the dollars go out, their only choice is gold. And therefore, with the demand, the value, COMEX can't just keep fucking it up with paper gold. It eventually has to go to physical. And the question of when is, let's see what happens with BRICS. I'm hoping for August. It'll be soon. I can't see it going another 3 or 4 years where they are doing the COMEX, although JP Morgan's capable. But we're really looking at, okay, well, we hope within 5 years. I do believe this year, because of BRICS and COMEX being busted and all this other stuff, I do believe it'll be sooner, but again, without a date, but knowing it will happen. So that's your key. Here's one. Americans are overpaying for homes. Americans are overpaying for homes as housing market, whatever. So what I take out of that is people don't know what to do. They have no clue about this. This is the obvious choice. Get your money out of the bank, buy gold and silver. That's the no-brainer, no risk. This is what you should do. but they don't know what gold and silver are. Like our friend in the hot tub who says, I got oil stocks. What is gold? I don't know what gold is. So what do? They run their real estate and they go, I better buy a house because I don't trust the money in the bank. I got to take it out. I got to put it somewhere. I'll buy real estate. I know what a house is, but they're overpaying. And with the interest rates, so they're paying $500,000 for 400, but it's about to all crash. So they're just very clueless. Oh, it can't crash because it's America. We can't crash. We know in 2008 we crashed, but that was 2008. It's not going to crash now. And that's the problem. So what happens is nobody understands it. They buy a house because they don't know anything about this. This is the only play is this and this. We'll give you this. This is your only play is real money because it's the demand shoot. So you've got two things. You're sitting in this. This is going to zero. We all know this. They're even saying there's inflation. They want to do this. They want to get to digital dollars like that's some savior. But they are crashing this. So you either keep your money in here or you move it. And if you move it into stocks or houses, which is you could, or you could here, but nobody wants to do this. This is the most logical. This hasn't gone up yet. This is $26. I paid $26 an ounce for this. You're overpaying for a house, as it just said. Americans are overpaying for homes. So you're buying a $200,000 house for $400,000. What the fuck is that? Why is that a good investment? Oh, because it's a real estate, it's a house. Does that make it a good investment? I don't see that. Versus this that's sitting at 26 an hour. Go up. This is real fucking money. How is it not going to go up? And up is going to be 10% of gold. So if gold, once it hits 7, what do you think happens? Now people start bailing out of the bank and start putting gold and silver in because they realize they've been scammed and they realize this is the place. Oh, gold's really not 2,000 an ounce like COMEX told 7. Now, it's better than Microsoft and it's better than a house. And the house is really not good because of the high interest rates because of the inflation. But gold and silver does fine in inflation. As the dollars go down, it goes up. So I am not, so if I'm in there, boom. So once they see it at 7, it's 20 because here comes the line. Well, let's put it this way. Let's say there's 1 million ounces out there, just a number, but there's 10 million people wanting the 1 million ounce. Well, what happens? You have an auction. But so let's say it's 5 guys for 1 ounce. Let's say 5 guys are bidding on the ounce. How much do you think I get for it? A lot more than $250. He bids, I want it. Well, multiply that by 1 million, 5 people wanting 1 million ounces of this. Oh, I'll take it for 10. I need it because this isn't available anymore. This has gone to zero. I need money and I can't buy Swiss franc. So the only thing left is this. What am I going to do with a house with 15% interest rates? I'm fucked there. So I could be in something and nobody can say, oh, it's not worth anything. Or I can buy a house that I got to pay 50% interest on. Or what? I'm going to buy Microsoft, and as the inflation hits, their price goes up. They go out of business because, oh, wait, now it's $100 a bottle, but the market won't. See, this is my whole point. The inflation gets really high. Their costs go up because they borrow money. So now it's 20% to borrow money to run their plant, pay their people, and make the bottles and the labels. So now I need $100 a bottle, but the market won't say. This is where they keep getting this shit wrong. They keep thinking prices will go up. We'll have to pay. No, we don't have to pay. We just won't buy it. I'm thinking you'd make any sales. I sell 1 bottle for 10 and you'll get 5 free. That's how they'll do it. I mean, that's what they do now. Buy one, get one free at what is it? It's $3 a 2 liter. It's really $1.50. Right. We can afford that. And most people are going to buy 2 of them. But, I see Fritos, $5, Doritos, $5 for a bag of chips. You got to be out of your fucking mind. So then they go and say, well, you buy one, we'll give you the second one free because we know you can't afford it, but we need to move our inventory. So that's what I'm saying. As costs go up, does not mean the prices will go up. That's what they think inflation is prices going up, and it's not. Inflation is whiskey because the whiskey, why do I keep freezing? Because the price of the whiskey is not going up. This is going down. And when that happens, the game's over. Once people realize that's what's happening, you won't be able to afford this anymore, right? I paid $250 for this. I want at least what once the shit hits the fan, and it's going to hit the fan. It hits the fan in Venezuela, in Turkey, and Sri Lanka, and Pakistan, and Greece. The shit hit the fan there. In Zimbabwe, it really hit the fan. It hit the fan so hard that Zimbabwe, for some strange reason, came out with gold coins to stop the inflation. Imagine that. They didn't come out with cars, or they came out with gold coins, and all of a sudden their inflation went away. That's the answer. But if we own them, then they go up. So once the price starts going up, then everybody sees it. Everybody jumps in. Nobody wants the dollar anymore. And now this is going to be $5,000 for this that I just paid $250 for, and this will be $2,000 that I just paid $26 for. So I really don't even. It's like I think I have enough silver, but to pay $26 for this today, I can't resist it. It's like, how can I not keep buying it? And even if I have it, because I know I'm going to take 10 of these and buy an ounce of gold down the road. That's my kind of what I'll do. And I don't give a fuck what you do. I'm never going to be in digital, and I'm never going to. The only way I'll be in digital is if they have to pay me my paycheck in digital. And then I'm hoping I can take my money in the new currency and not be fucked in digital, or then take the digital to the gold store and buy that if we can figure out a price for it. So I'm hoping that the money won't go away so I can keep buying gold. But that's the strategy. I paid $260 for 10 of these. $260. I buy an ounce of gold worth $30,000. It's the best $260 you ever did. Plus, if you kept the $260 in this shit, if I kept the $260 in this, it would be worth $0. So it's a no-brainer all the way around, right? That's going to $0. This is undervalued going up. And everybody's like, well, it's only $26 an ounce. Why would I invest in that? So what are you saying? You want to keep your money in this? Or you want to keep your money in the stocks? Or you want to keep your money in the bank? Good luck getting it out. And believe me, there's going to be plenty more banks going out of business, plenty more bank runs, plenty more where, if people are going to rely on the FDIC insurance to pay them, where do you think that money comes from? They print it. The more they print, it's gonna be like, this is the only bit of the dollar will be left once they start printing it. It'll have no value at all. People won't want it, but people got to get their money out of the bank, at least put it in your safe, and then buy your gold and silver with as much of it as you can comfortably feel. But that's very clear what you need to do, and it's very obvious. You done eating for today? Yeah, I got to. It's too late. I can't eat now. I didn't have dinner, so I had some strawberries and almonds and a little bit of chocolate, and I had a banana, I think, about 7:30 when I started. So it's been 3 hours, but I won't eat now. I mean, I'll probably have some more green tea or ginger tea if I have, or I'll just put a glass of water with ginger tea and cinnamon in it. But I won't eat now. maybe I'll grab two almonds, but basically I'm not going to cook. I'm cook the chicken, but I won't eat it. I'll have it tomorrow. But tomorrow's General Chow Day and everything anyway. I'm getting hungry now, but it's too late to eat. Well, I'm the one on camera, so you could go grab some avocados or chicken or something. But yeah, and again, I was so busy. I was worried there wouldn't be any of this left, and I had to see that. But the price is it's 12. I'm 4 over spot. I'm laughing, going, this is $2,000 an ounce silver. What the fuck you mean? $20. If I can find it under 2,000, I'm happy. So this is the problem. People don't get it. I don't know why they don't get it. And too many people are listening to the fucking government. I don't understand that either. Let's see. Delvin Cook appears to be hinting at where he wants to play. See, I don't even read that. Until he goes and plays somewhere, I don't want to know where he might play. That's just stupid. Let's see. See, here's the real bitch. Traders bailed out of ETF. Traders bailed out of NASDAQ ETF just as it started falling. What kind of crap is that? That's why when you have gold and silver, you don't have to worry about that shit. This is some more housing market news for you, Bobby. So basically, housing market 2023, exploding housing costs are forcing this state's residents into whatever. I don't care about that. It's just exploding housing costs. It's the wood. It's the, putting in the lights, putting in the lumber, and the paying the people. Homes for sale fall to record low in May as new listings tumble, Redden says. So there you go, Bobby. This is what I'm trying to help you with. So homes for sale fall. So nobody wants to sell their homes as new listings tumble. So nobody wants to sell their homes because they can't get what they want. So if you want to sell your home for 500, but you got to list it at 4, you're going to fuck it. I'm not going to sell it. What they don't realize is they should be quickly selling it. This is why I'm bitching at the Canadian who sold my house. I bought for $250 for $500, losing money. And in about 6 months to a year, you buy a fucking house with higher interest rates because of inflation, and your 700 grand, you'll be lucky to get 300 grand for, so you'll lose your 400 grand. Smart move. See, again, why doesn't he buy gold? He buys a house. Fucking idiot. Oh, because houses will continue to go up. They'll never go down. They'll just keep going up and up and up to infinity. Isn't that the way the market works? What a fucking idiot. That's why we won't hear from him anymore. Then we have moron Powell sees housing inflation coming down sharply over the next 18 months. What's housing inflation? The only inflation we know about is dollars. That's it. There is no housing inflation. In English, that would mean they've made all these houses, more houses than our supply, and therefore they're going down. But that's not what's happening. They're not oversupplying the house. It's the cost. He thinks inflation is cost. So he's saying, well, I think what he's really saying is how Powell sees housing costs coming down sharply over the next 18 months. Probably because the market can't afford it because of the interest rates. So the demand will go down. So therefore, you can't sell a $1 million house if nobody can afford it. So you lower your price. That's what's going to happen. Not, why do you call it inflation? See, they keep trying to push inflation as cost, and it's not. There's only one inflation, and it's this. It's printing this to zero, which is what they're doing. That's it. There is no other inflation. There's no wage inflation. There's no house inflation. There's no car inflation. It's the market. It's the market. That's why I'm telling you is they're not talking about Say's Law. Say's Law is I want to buy Bobby's house or I want to rent Bobby's house. He makes the price. I then determine if it's a fair price and I want to stay there for the week. And then we have a deal. So Bobby has to supply the rental on the ocean, and I want to go there and relax for the week or 2 weeks. If Bobby lowers his price because you can't get a customer, it's not deflation. If there's 10 people that want to rent it at $1,000 a month, $1,000 a week, so you can go to $1,200 a week because you got 10 buyers. That's not inflation. It's not deflation. That's the market. That's Say's Law that they don't want to talk about. So everything's either inflation or deflation. There is no such thing as deflation. The only way you can have deflation is if you somehow stop printing and then burn all the dollars that are in existence. It's the only way you can have, then it would make the dollar go up because there's less of them. Otherwise, there's no such thing as deflation. Bobby, so go eat. Professor, have you ever used a general contractor for home improvements? Well, we bought a condo. Yeah, we used a guy to come in and put cabinets in our laundry room and to fix a few things in the house. So we used like just a regular guy, a handyman type of guy. So we kept it cheap, and he did a good job hanging the things. And if we wanted, we finished the base. We hired people to do that, professionals. They drywall, they carpeted it, and all that. So yeah, we did, and that was fine. We had a good price. We were able to compare competition. We could see one guy's X, one guy's Y, one guy's Z. We went with what we felt was the best at a good price. Maybe not the cheapest, but we liked it. We use referrals. Somebody who's used them before, okay, we trust the person's going to tell us a good thing, so we will go with the guy because he did. We did that once. We were having problems with our furnace, so we just look in the yellow pages, and some guy came out, didn't know what he was doing, and he kept saying to me, well, I've been doing this for 35 years. He didn't know what the fuck he was doing. What he needed to do was clean the furnace. The furnace had gotten kind of plugged, so the pilot light kept going out. And what he needed to do was do a cleaning, right? Clean out, and then it worked fine. Well, he didn't do that, but he'd been doing it for 30 years. So he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. So we said, see you later. We got some guy from like a heating company. The first guy was like a maintenance guy. Second guy worked for like, a name brand heating company. He comes out right away. Oh, I got to do like a cleaning, like a tune up on a car, and he cleans it out. We never had a problem. So you try to get some feedback from like when I went to the chiropractor, this lifeguard, I was doing my exercises and I said, God, my back's killing me. She says, I got a good chiropractor. I says, well, do you yeah, my back was all fucked up and he fixed me. And so I went to him on her approval. I don't know her that well, but then I went, and now my back's fine because I do these stretches and, my posture and stuff like that. And I could see that it was 2 inches. So I knew I didn't have like cancer. I was dying. It was just my left hip was up here. My right hip was there. So now I've kind of evened it out. The back isn't bulging, and I'm pretty pain-free in my back right now. So I listened to her, but she had help on her back. So that's what I kind of try to do. So yeah, I mean, general contractors are fine but try to get a reference. Try to go to your friends or family and say, this is what I need of you. Usually really happy. I use this guy and I'm really happy with. So I would not do another guy at 35 years experience didn't know which end of the furnace to light. So you've got to be careful in that regard. If somebody starts telling you, I've been doing this for 30 years, run fast 77, or that I've got I do tell you I got a master's, but it's got nothing to do. I got it in 1995. So I've been an economist for what, God, 30 years now. But that's not my selling point. My selling point is my skill set is buy this and I explain it. That's the method of the reference, right? This is why you buy silver. And I tell you that, and then it's up to me to be able to explain it. So you go, that makes sense. I'm going to do it. That's my reference. Now, if you tell somebody, listen to the professor, that's a different story. Then he's good. He'll help you. Then he's got the reference. But in the beginning, I've got to prove to you that I'm buying this. I show you I buy it, and then I explain it. So that's kind of my reference. So I would get somebody like that, not I've been doing it for 35 years. Anyway, we'll do one more of these. Now, here's a very interesting one. Short bets on stock at $1 trillion, most since something 22, since April 22. What does that mean? Do you understand what a short means? Short means you're betting it goes down. So the stock goes down. That's what they're doing with gold. They do the derivatives to push the price of the gold down. So they are betting that U.S. stocks will go down $1 trillion. So do you think the stock's going up or down? And I guarantee you it's the same with houses, that they're betting heavily that the house prices are going down. Now they're going down for the same reason, inflation. What inflation does is raises the interest rate, as I've explained. So the housing costs more because the interest rates go up. So the guy lending the money, because who has money to buy, LeBron and Tom Brady, but most of us don't have the money to buy a $500,000 house. We have to take a loan out. We have to take a mortgage out. So if I'm going to loan the mortgage, the interest rate's going to be high. That's what's killing the housing market. And all the foreigners who have 25 trillion in investments here are going to pull their money to get it out, so they don't lose it all. So they're also going to sell their assets, the houses, the get it out of the banks, which is going to cause the bank crisis. That's what happened to Credit Suisse. Saudi Arabia pulled like $10 billion out of Credit Suisse, which made a bank run on Credit Suisse. They couldn't handle it. They didn't have the money. That's why they went bankrupt. That's the same thing that's going to happen here. So all the foreigners, the Chinese, the Russians, the Germans, the English, are going to pull their money, and they're going to sell their houses, and they're going to sell their stocks. And when that happens, is out everything goes. And that's what's going to happen. So you can see everything's setting up for gold, because you take your money out and you're looking for a place to put it. Well, I can't put it in stocks anymore, and I certainly can't put it in a house. Well, what else do I do? Mantle, Rolex. Well, if I'm doing that, I might as well buy gold, and that's going to force this price up. And it's only, I was listening to some guy, and he's so stupid. He says, well, if we all buy gold, it'll force the price up. No, it won't. Nothing will go until COMEX gets out of the way, or people ignore COMEX. I don't know why everybody listens to COMEX, but the problem is, so until COMEX gets blown up, everybody could buy 1,000 ounces of gold and the price isn't going to go up. Not because it's not supply and demand. It's COMEX pushing the price down. And until COMEX gets out of the way, we're not going to see the 50,000. But once they're out of the way, we'll see it, and probably a lot higher. So I think that's it. I'll be back in 12 hours. I'll be back with I don't know what. We'll talk about alligator. We'll look at the video. Andrew McGuire today. I didn't see alligator with anything. So we had Andrew McGuire. That was a pretty good one. Number 128. And this is a good one too, how inflation works. And it really just tells you the way I teach you. It's just basically, it's the devaluation of the dollar. They're pretty good about it. So the way I teach it, not it's a rise in cost. That's what it is. So we'll go through these two tomorrow, plus my alligator. I'll go through a few of the alligator ones. And then I see he's got a new one he did today, higher interest rates for longer. So we got to read what that is. Gold and silver. Anyway, we got to see what he's saying. So I'm reading the alligator stuff. Would you know what Say's law is, and when he gets into it, and then this higher. So it's probably better if I read it, and then I can analyze it and explain it a lot better. And it's kind of hard reading. It's a bit technical, so you'd probably not catch it. So let me handle that. But to answer your question, Bobby, yeah, I'm always looking at gold and economics and everything. It's just part of my normal day. That's how good my program was. I used the shit I learned in the program, gold, Austrian economics, Say's law, just how to analyze. I use that every day. It depends what pops up. But again, being an INFJ, see, we like to read, but I don't like to read books, but I like to read like Alligator or watch the video where I'm seeing what's going on or pulling these articles. So I'm reading the articles to see what's going on, but then I can analyze it and interpret the articles that most people can't. So when they're short $1 trillion means pretty fucking sure the stock market's about to crash. We know the housing market's going to crash because the autos are having a hard time because who can afford $800? And it's a steal because with inflation, he'll never have to pay. So I think people are doing it because they know they won't have to pay the loan back because after a year when the money goes out, they won't have to pay it. So they'll pay. It's like me with the credit cards. I pay a little bit, but I don't pay nearly what I should be paying because I'm assuming I won't owe anything because once the dollar goes out, I don't have any money to pay you. And you're charging me dollars that don't exist, so you got to change it to zero. Did you have to get a separate loan for it? For what? The home improvement? No. I mean, it wasn't that expensive. Like we refinished the basement was like $4,000 or $5,000, let's say. No, we had the money in the bank. So we just used that and we made payments as he went along and we paid it off. So we didn't need a loan. I always have money. Even like in 6th, 7th grade, I'd always have some money. But no, we were lucky. We bought a condo for $100,000 when we got married, like 92, just because I knew it was cheap. I said, we got to buy it. It's cheap. And then it went to 200,000. So we sold it to make $100,000. And then we moved into this new house. So we had $100,000 basically to play. Well, we basically had $200,000 because we didn't have John's house. So let's say we had 150. So we put like $100,000 on the new house. So we had money in the bank and we were working. So we had some money. But I didn't like that the ex got in the baseball cards, not into this. I would have gotten into this at $2.50 an ounce. I got this. So imagine at $2.50, this would have cost me $25 for this. No, actually, I bought my a PSA 10. Well, it was an MS70. One of these cost me $35 for an MS70 graded one. And I only bought one. That's my biggest regret is I didn't buy 1,000 of them. And I knew I just got through with the Masters. I knew gold's you're out because you knew the dollar's going to shit. It's amazing how long they've kept the dollar going. It should never have gone this far. It should have ended in 2008. So we're really lucky that we're able to buy silver and gold at these cheap prices now because it ain't going to stay. We're going to be very wealthy because they waited, but this should have been gone in 2008. The money should have collapsed and the gold and silver should have went through the roof. So we're very lucky that it didn't in 08. And we're alive to see it now in 2023, these incredibly cheap prices. And it's being held down for 50 years. So just imagine what it's going to, when they take the foot off and it goes physical, it's going to go boom. Silver's not, it's going to go 26 and it's going to be 1800 or something like that. I mean, that's a conservative guess, but we know it has to go up because we know the dollar's going out, and we know everybody will have no choice but to run into gold and silver. The houses, the interest rates don't force the houses up. The cars, you don't buy cars as an investment because they depreciate. Stocks, good luck with them because they're priced in dollars, and the inflation is going to cause their cost to go up. Can they pass it on? And we see Tesla lowering their cars from 50,000 to now 19,000 for an electric car. And guess what? That's too expensive. They can't compete with the Chinese because the Chinese are making electric cars cheaper. And by the way, there's no demand for them. Nobody wants them because we all like going to a gas station every mile and a half and not having to charge my car. And I'm in an apartment. I probably can't even do it. How am I going to charge? This is a disaster waiting to happen. And if someone thinks this is a plan that you're giving the government credit for this, you're out of your fucking mind. The government is fucking clueless. Well, we won't count Say's law and we won't do this, we won't do that. I mean, that's just how bad it is. These people are a bunch of fucking idiots. And you've got to realize that. Sorry, Bobby, let me read your. No, I didn't need a separate loan. How do I schedule it, though? Do I just look up a contractor and show them the potential property? I'm not sure how to go about taking bids and how it would go on top of my home loan. Looking to learn more of what I got to do, and it's worth it. And who better than, well, thank you, Bobby. I'll get you there. The house is nice, but so this is the rental property on the beach, or are you actually looking for a new house? I assume it's the rental property. So the contractor comes to see the house and would tell me what needs to be done, or do I tell them? Well, you can only tell them if you know. I knew I wanted the basement finished. I knew the hot water tank, the pilot light was going off, so I was able to tell them that. The guy who did the cabinets, he made the suggestions, and then we went, but it was a recommendation from my ex's mother who had used them or knew somebody, so she trusted them. So we can talk about this tomorrow because it's getting late, but if you need well, it's not, you're going to take out, so you want to buy a house for 300 grand, you're going to get a mortgage for the 300 grand or whatever you're going to put down, and you're going to get a mortgage for it. Now you want this work done. Well, that's separate from the mortgage. So you're going to then need another loan if you need. I mean, is it going to cost you a lot? I don't know. Let's say it costs you 50 grand to do it. Then I would probably adjust my bid on the house saying, look, it needs X amount of work. I would make sure I got it, had what do you call it, an appraiser, get an appraisal of the house. So he comes out and says it's worth 300. It needs 50,000 worth of work. So you go, okay. So now when you bid on the house, you only bid 250 because you say, well, wait, I need $50,000 worth of work. I'm only going to give it, it's only really worth 250 then. Or it's worth 300, but it needs 50,000 worth of work. So you negotiate that when you're doing the bidding. You're bidding on the house. And if it needs work, that should come in. Why would you pay more for the house if it needs work? So you adjust yours down to what the work is I need done. You do that. And then you, that should be your price. Then you got to get a separate loan to do the home improvement because they're just giving you the mortgage. So it's 300,000, you need 50,000 worth of work. So maybe you can make a bid for 250 because it needs 50,000. So then you take the mortgage out for 250. And then maybe the mortgage company, some bank will need to lend you 50 grand if you don't have to pay the contractor to come out to fix it up. Maybe you look for a house you don't need to fix up and pay $350 on the mortgage. There's different options, but then you have the contractor come out and say you can't let him guide. You've got to be in charge, but you say maybe the inspector can tell you what needs to be done. He's inspecting the house. You need to do X, Y, and Z. You need somebody to tell you X, Y, and Z, but do you trust the contractor? So that's a good question. Maybe you trust. I would bring out 3 or 4 different inspectors or people like contractors to do it, and I would take notes. What do you think needs to be done here? What do I need done? You really need to know that when they come out. I don't think you can trust. That's like taking your car and going, well, I don't know what needs. Oh, you need a bolt here and a screw here and this and that and everything else. You don't need it, So like you trust your mechanic, you got to trust the contractor that he's honest and saying, this is what you need. Oh, the wood's all rotten, Bobby. You need to fix it all. And there's nothing wrong with the wood. So the inspector who inspects the house before you buy it to give you the value should maybe tell you what's wrong with the house. I think he'd probably be the best. And he tells you need to do this. You need that. The wood's good. The wood's bad. You want to put a deck out there, whatever you want. Probably the inspector I would start with to see that, or maybe have a couple inspectors come out to tell you, here's $100. What's wrong with the house? They tell you. It's like going to a doctor, right? You might have, it's your shoulder, it's your throwing shoulder, and you can't play, and you go to another doctor, and he says, the shoulder's fine. So you get different opinions. So think of it like that. So have a few inspectors come out and go, well, what's wrong with the house? But the one who comes out before you buy it should give you a lot of those points because he's looking for the value of the house. And it should be your inspector, not the banks. You don't want to trust the banks. You have an inspector come out. This is what you need done. Boom, boom, boom. The wood, the paint, He tells you, then you have an idea. Now you bring in the contractor saying, I need this done. What are you going to charge me? And you bring out 2 or 3 of them, and you don't pay for the inspection for them to come out. They want your business. And then you see the time and you see the cost. And if they're fucking around with you, well, I would do this, that, and the other. And you go, no, I don't need that. My inspector told me this is all I need. This is all I want done. Because they're always going to try to rip you off. And then then you take the best bid, again, going through the competition, A, B, and C. And if there's $1,000 difference, you go with maybe A because he's cheaper if you think the quality is the same. So that's what I would do is I'd first find out what's wrong and then bring the contractor out to tell you, because otherwise he'll tell you, oh, you need a whole new, the wood's all shot. You need you got to re-wood the whole house. And not if you just spent $300,000 on it. It better not be in that condition. So depending on what it's going to cost you, you probably need a separate loan for that. Usually they're home improvement loans, and you put up the equity of the house. So whatever. So if you let's say you put $50,000 down. Just the number, and you buy a $500,000 house, and the inspector comes out saying it's worth $500,000. You make your offer. Maybe you make a $450,000 offer. Maybe it's $500,000. Maybe it's $450,000. I need $50,000 worth of work. Then you can possibly take out a home equity loan and say, look, I want to fix the house up. And they give you a home equity loan, usually pretty cheap. And you do that. And then you find the contractor. You look at the 3 bids, and then you go, okay, you try to get recommendations. And family said, I trust them because my friend who's Russian gave him to me. So you try to do that. And that's what I would do. And then where do you get the loan? You try for a home equity loan if you have enough equity in the house. If you don't, then you got to have your credit and maybe collateral, and you go to a bank who is willing to give you a loan, again, inflation, and you'll pay an interest rate. So you wouldn't need, no, you're coming out saying this is what's needed, because you would have no idea if he tells you, like I said, if he tells you X, Y, and Z, you're at the mercy of the guy. What if you really need X, Y, and Z? Maybe you don't need it. Maybe you only need X. So you want an independent guy coming and saying, this is what's wrong with the house, but that'll happen before you buy it. You have an inspector come out, he gives you the value. The house is worth 500 grand. This is what's wrong with it. If you need to, and then that's what you want to down, because if you give him too much down, he's gone. Thanks, Bobby. See you later. And he's off to Mexico, and he's got $20,000-$30,000. You got to be very careful. He's credible, and he's AAA rated, and you're going to give him low. If it's a $50,000 loan, it's here's 10 grand, and then here's 15, and then when you're done, I give you the final 25. That's how you've got to give him incentive to finish. Otherwise, if you pay him 50 up front, you never see him again. So you got to be very careful just to give him as little as possible. If he says, I need it all up front, tell him to go fuck himself. And you're not smelling what I'm cooking. I am not going to give you the full amount. Never give the full amount up front. You'll never see the guy again. Unless you know him, unless it's like your brother and you know he's going to be there. You don't ever want until it's paid off. And once it's paid off, once it's done, then you give them, so you keep the incentive on them to do that. About 2 hours. So anyway, it's always good to talk to you. I'll be on about 11:30, 12. Yeah, that'll be good. Chinese tomorrow. And that's about it. So have a wonderful night. I hope you learned. Again, let me know. I like that you asked questions, then we both learned from it. People watching, because it's still a video, so they can watch going, oh, that's what you do with a contractor. So that's why I try to, teach and help people. But anyway, the biggest thing I can help people is buy this, please. Buy this, please. It's a no-brainer. You have no risk. And I always had an attack on Wall Street, and I go, if the guy would have put $1,000 in the gold, he would have lost it all. It'd have been worth $110,000 after a few years, and he would have been able to save his wife's life, and he wouldn't have went bankrupt, and he wouldn't have needed to work again. That's the problem with people. They don't understand, and they go to the wrong person to explain it to them, and they get fucked. And that's my problem with these idiots, the Riker and the Checkmans and all these idiots on YouTube, is people will watch them, get misinformation, and heck, Sheckman's still going, oh, the demand for gold, this, that, and the other, but he doesn't talk about when COMEX will blow up. He doesn't talk about its paper versus physical. He kind of says he doesn't know what it is, so he never really says buy your it's paper gold. Once COMEX goes away, then it's going to jump up. All he says is supply is very high or demand's very strong. That doesn't mean anything, because as long as COMEX is around, the value will never go up. And to say, well, it's gone up to 2,000, yeah, notice it's not going up any, but everything else with materials is up, but not gold. Excuse me. So anyway, that's the problem. These guys don't explain it, and they don't explain when it's going to blow up. So I try to help as best I can by saying bricks. That's the difference this time, but we'll see. Anyway, I think that's it for tonight. www.teaserking.com. I'll probably make my yearly picks $5.99, because next year it's going to be $600 transactions on PayPal. We'll get you a $10.99. $5.99, not $600. My college and pro, now my total normally is like $1,000, but maybe I'll just make the whole thing $5.99, and we'll see if that's deflation. I'm lowering my price. How stupid these people are. Anyway, have a nice night. Be good, be healthy, eat your ginger. So again, you cut it off and you peel it and you pop it right in. You pop it right in here. Well, I still got tea in there. It really tastes good. The tea does not. I put a little cinnamon in there and a little lemon, and I stir it up, and I'm fine. I'm not even putting a tea bag in there. I am basically having water with ginger, like a whole piece of ginger, and there's a little small, but the ginger and the lemon and some cinnamon, and it's fine. I can drink it, and it's got taste, and uh, hopefully keeps me healthy. The ginger is extremely healthy for you. So get this for health reasons, like you get the dark chocolate and the lemon and the cinnamon and the honey and all this, all the roots and minerals that they don't want to tell you. No, I have frosted flakes and yogurt and all the stuff that's going to make you die. I saw this guy. I'll leave with this. I saw this guy at swim, was huge. And I felt, when I see that, I feel bad for the guy. And I want to go up to him like, look, I can save your life. Just stop eating the fucking sugar and eat at noon and eat at 6 and don't eat again. And you'll be thin in 6 months. I want to say that. But the problem is these guys get it in their mind. They don't want to hear it. And I don't want to give up my Cheerios and my Frosted Flakes and my beer, and I don't want to give up my sugars in my car. I don't want to give up pizza and bagels. And like, do you want to live or not? I don't even know how to. I used to approach them, and now I just stay away. I don't know. I feel bad. I know what they had. I know they got diabetes. I got insulin resistance, and I know how to cure them. And I don't know what to do with it because too many guys will pretend to listen to me, and then they won't. It's like the Chinese lady. I'll talk to her about gold and silver. Say, oh, we don't have any money. And then the Toyota guy said she's rich. Well, what the fuck? Okay, fine. Keep your money. And when it goes to zero, don't say I didn't warn you. I'm gonna have a talk with her tomorrow because I'm pretty pissed that's what I'm afraid of. People are just saying I don't have any money, so I stop trying to help them with the gold and silver, which I can't figure out why you wouldn't do it when I'm giving you a no-brainer. But we don't have any money. And I'm like, I know how many customers you have here. You can't be that stupid. Oh, anyway, I'll have a talk with her. You're telling the Toyota's finance manager, you're not telling me. So okay, fine, do what you want. You can only help so many people, and that's what you want to help everybody, but most people don't want your help, so there's nothing you can do. All right. Have a great night. I will see you about 11:30, 12, and we'll be back. I got to look at the quarterbacks, so I'll probably buy the magazine tomorrow. I won't. Maybe I'll talk about it on Sunday. The alligators to show you and the video ones. Anyway, it's funny. All the videos I show, and the only one I get trouble on is the WE banned in Russia and Sri Lanka. I can't believe America didn't ban it. Only it's like I can't think of it, but like the WWE prohibits you from showing it. What the fuck? This is the problem. They should take the free publicity and maybe somebody else watches it and they make money on it. That's how a Austrian does it. The Keynesians block you. I'll show the Undertaker then. All right. Have a good day. Thank you very much. Let me know. Play blackjack. Anyway. All right. Take care. Thank you very much. Have a great night. Have a great weekend.